Everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group, just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost a sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Go!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts, it's like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Hey everybody, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 342. Not much to talk about today, so this is going to be a quick episode.
Jay, I'm bailing from the show.
Are you?
Well, I'm holding out. So I feel like I'm coming off. Well, I want to get paid. So I'm coming off maybe the worst show I've done. The Derrick Rose impression, everyone hated it. For those that don't know, it was a long-running inside joke on the show. For a long time, we did it. Last show, we had a lot of new people listening. They didn't really like it. And so I have to say that coming off a bad show, I had a...
Greg Picker.
Well, when you open up the free agency tracker, you get a video.
I had a bad show. I'm really tired from the weekend. I guess I almost say I'm injured. So I will only come back to the show for $18 million a year, 4-year deal.
I
think I'm deserving. If I'm coming off my worst show, I deserve a lot of fucking money.
Well, you're bound to have a comeback year.
Yeah.
Comeback
So pay me.
Done.
So am I getting $18 million a year?
Yeah. Sure.
In dollars or Turkish, whatever the hell they get paid there.
Oh, no, I was just going to give you 18 million points.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Sweet.
They're Knicks podcast points. They're worth 0, but you'll have 18 million of them.
So a lot has happened. Knicks, NBA, money falling down on people.
So we will go through the Knicks moves first, obviously, and then we'll go to the rest of the NBA because this has been probably the craziest free agency week I think has ever happened.
I feel like the owners are completely screwing themselves here. I didn't realize why the salaries were so high. I knew the salary cap was raised, but the part I didn't realize was the whole floor.
Yeah. Well, when the cap is raised, the floor has to be raised. So teams have
floor,
to spend.
Was the floor always 90% though?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane how much money has to be spent.
Right. Teams have to spend about $84 million.
So the cap is basically what, $94 million going to $104 next year, right?
Correct. Yes.
And you think about it, $94 million, and that's divided among a roster of 15 people. But really, probably only 6 guys on a roster get paid. So 6 guys, probably about $94 million, 80 or so million go to the 6 guys.
Yeah, about.
It's kind of freaking crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's so many guys that are not good getting insane amount of money.
There is. It's somebody sent me what the dollar value is like now compared to what it was last year. Like 18 million this season is what like a $13.5 million contract was worth last season.
Yeah, as a percentage of the cap.
Right. So you got to, I guess, kind of try and wrap your head around that when you see some of these contracts. But even so, we'll get into all the free non-Knicks free agents later. But Mozgov got $16 million a year. That's still about $12 million for last year, and that's still really high.
I joked for the Mozgov thing on Twitter that it was kind of like, it's like if it's 4 a.m. in a bar, you're drunk as hell, and you go home with a fat chick, fine. If it's 7 p.m. at the bar and your target is the fat chick, something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
It was the first thing the Lakers did. They were like, oh my God, free agency starting. Let's just give an outrageous amount of money to Mozgov. It might have been the first deal announced, or one of the first deals announced.
It was like they just couldn't wait. They were 12:01. They were on the phone with Mozgov.
They were like, "Oh my God, They were like, we want to beat his next competing offer, which is a 1-year vet minimum contract." And then what was it? Tyler Johnson got $50 million in the Nets because the Nets were like, we feel bad for Moz. We don't want people to say that Moz contract is the dumbest one.
Yeah.
There's so many guys who played like 10 minutes a year last year getting like $10 million a year.
So last episode we did, the Knicks had about 4 players on the roster.
They have more now.
They have 10. Did you
They
know
have
that?
like a roster now.
Do you know that they have 10?
I don't think they have 10.
They do. I wrote it down. I made notes. I made show notes today.
Or are you counting?
I am counting agreed upon contracts.
Okay.
I'm assuming that most of these players won't pull a DeAndre Jordan.
So we have our starting 5. We have Derrick Rose. We have Courtney Lee.
Mm-hmm.
We got Kristaps. We got Melo. We got Noah. We got our backup point.
Is this the first time since the year 2000 that the Knicks have 5 starters that are all above average?
This is I can't even believe now we know what the starting lineups are going to be. There's no even debating it.
It's just crazy that like every starter on the Knicks is above average. I'm very excited about this.
I know the catchphrase is going to be "if healthy," but if healthy, this will be a pretty darn good team.
I'm not even saying it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say it because I mean this is one of those seasons where if everyone's injured, you can't be like, "Oh, we had bad luck." You were asking for this.
Right.
If everyone's healthy, great. But if everyone's injured, you can't be like, "Oh, I can't believe we had such bad luck."
This is a crazy super gamble, but Phil is gonna look like such a genius if this works out.
Let me just figure out the rest of the roster. So number 6 would be Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
7, Lance Thomas already resigned. 8, are you counting Langston Galloway?
No, they rescinded his offer. They offered him 2.7 and they took it back.
What?
So I'm guessing they went with Jennings over Galloway.
Okay, we'll get to my anger later.
Galloway was.
I'm gonna get to my anger in a second.
It's kind of garbage.
Okay. Okay. Number 8. Yeah. Why would we develop anyone? You've been in the league for 2 years. We know who you are. Let me just pull this guy up. Actually, so I want to talk about a player that was also garbage. Just talk about guys like just go with Jerry and Grant. Everyone else that like. Oh, this is who they are. They're done. We've seen them from one season. This is exactly who they are. Mm-hmm. So this player, see if you can guess who this player is. First year in the league,
mm-hmm.
He shot 32% from the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He shot, 32% from the floor. He averaged about just under 3 points a game in about 14 minutes played a game.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really do much at all.
I know what you're doing right now.
But his second year in the league,
mm-hmm.
6.2 points a game.
I know what you're doing.
Shot 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Garbage. He got his point shooting up a little bit, put up some like couple of rebounds, couple of assists. Garbage. And he was averaging 22 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
Third season in the league, 30 point minutes a game, got 11 points a game, 44%. He seems to be getting better. He's shooting about 33% from 3-point land, getting 8 rebounds a game, 3.7 assists. Not saying everyone's turning into Draymond Green, but year 4, he was an MVP candidate. Guys get better. I don't know why the Knicks don't believe this.
That was Draymond Green, right?
Yeah, Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Year 4, it's through the roof. Almost 50% field goal percentage, almost 40% from 3. I mean, he's a stud. 10 rebounds a game, 7.5 assists a game. Not everyone's going to turn into him, and most players won't. But everyone, you can go through so many players. I've gone through Jeff Teague's stats. I went through. Most guys in the league are not good right away. The Knicks just don't understand this. But just finishing off the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So not Galloway, and Galloway is a decent defender. He's never going to be a really good. But you know what? We now have 2 point guards who were questionable whether they're going to be healthy this year. We don't have should we have a third backup?
We do.
We do. Okay. Yeah. Number 8. Are you counting the center from Spain?
They signed him today.
Oh, they did sign him.
Hernan Gomez.
What did he get?
I don't know. Probably a minimum. The details didn't come out yet.
something they called something like the he was getting the room exception.
Well, he's got to be on his rookie contract, so he's a second rounder, so it's going to be
they had to pay him something. There's something called the room exception or whatever it was called, but something exception I'd never heard of before. 9 is Kyle O'Quinn. Who's number 10?
He was in the Rose trade.
Oh, Justin Hamilton?
Holiday,
whatever.
Yeah. So that's a squad. That's a legit squad.
We still need 5 more guys, though. But
technically, we only need 3.
Okay, we need 3 more guys, and they can be league minimum guys. It's not a huge deal. I would like Galloway to be back, but
well, since they rescinded his offer, I don't think he's going to be. We could still get Derek Williams.
I don't care about Derek Williams.
And we could still get Labrie.
Oh, he's horrible.
Probably.
Have you seen how bad our summer league team is?
Yes. I think they scored 40 points.
A high school team would not be any worse than our summer league team. Our summer league teams. Our summer league team, and I know this is not that important, but I almost think it's an embarrassment because you should have enough young guys that are coming out there year after year that it's watchable, it's competitive. You don't have to win every game, but you don't need to be completely outclassed as if you're playing a different sport.
So the summer league team is tanking, but the regular team is trying.
I think so.
So you don't seem as happy about this team right now.
Are you happy about this team?
Yes, I'm very happy about this team.
Oh, my God. Okay, we can. So I have 2 minds about this.
Okay.
So,
I'm Jay, by the way, so you can send your hate mail to Mark.
Okay.
NYKnicksPodcast@gmail.com.
So there's 2 ways to look at this. So what I want more than anything, besides a winning team, and this team should be decent, is to really rebuild. I want to build a young core and then then kind of take us to the next level with free agents.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got Kristaps. I thought Grant. I didn't even getting rid of Lopez, fine, but getting rid of Grant annoyed the crap out of me. Not that Grant may never turn out to be that great of a player, but he was a guy that showed potential, and it was a guy that you probably wanted to develop. And the Knicks just said, "Screw it, we're going back to the shortcut method and just seeing." We've done this so many times. Ever since we got rid of Ewing, we've done this over and over again, and we're pretending we're not crazy.
Right, but it's usually just one guy that's supposed to save the franchise. We have a legit starting lineup now.
Okay, yeah. So we signed Eddie Curry at center. We got Stephen Marbury at point guard. These are can't miss deals.
I'm the most excited.
We get McDyess again.
I'm very excited about Courtney Lee.
Courtney Lee, I thought, was one of the best signings. Actually, Jennings signings were actually really good as well. But as a backup. But do you not see the fact that all we're doing is cutting corners? We can't just go through a rebuild. The Mets did this, and the Mets have a competitive team. And if you're a Mets fan, you're like, oh, I have something to look forward to. I have a core of pitching we could add with free agents and really build a team.
The way I see it
we could draft a bunch of young guys and get Kevin Durant to sign here because he'd actually want to sign here because we're Golden State.
The way I see it is Melo is not going to waive his no-trade clause. And you can't really rebuild when you have Melo and Porzingis on the team.
Yeah, you can. Everyone say you can't rebuild in New York. You can rebuild in New York.
You can rebuild in New York, but not with
guts.
Not with Melo and Porzingis. They're going to be too good. What are we going to...
Really? They've been too good. They were too good last year. That number 9 pick in the draft would have been awful. We have our draft picks going forward.
So you're saying we should rebuild by 9 picks between 9 and 11?
I think we could have said, "Hey, Melo, we're not rebuilding. We're not trying to win now. Cut your loss and go to another team." And he probably would have waived his no trade clause.
Maybe.
Or you could say, "Hey, Melo, just join our team, and you could help mentor Porzingis, and we're going to try to build young guys, and we'll see what happens." I think to try to win now strategy is. We've been doing this over and over again since 2001, whatever. Every year is win now. And what have we done? We've gone to the playoffs twice, or 3 times. Twice we were first round exit, and once we made it to the second round. And do we hold parades to celebrate that? We won 54 games. Like the Spurs, it's shameful for them when they win 54 games. For us, we want to remember this is the greatest year ever.
I'm excited.
So on the one hand, so I'm looking at this the 2 ways. On the one hand, I wanted to rebuild. I wanted to build something sustained, and actually win a title. And with Porzingis, if you start developing guys, you think in 5 years, if you really build around him, we might have a real core to actually really contend.
Yeah.
Now we are guaranteeing a worse draft pick and guaranteeing that when all this garbage leaves, we'll say, hey, we made the second round again. Let's celebrate with another parade and start rebuilding again. And then we'll start rebuilding and we're like, rebuilding's really hard. Let's find some big name guy who can like insert a system and like sign some other past the prime big names and let's see how it goes.
You're going to get so much hate mail from this episode.
But this has tremendous. So on the one hand, I wish there was a rebuild. If we have to try to win now, this is not a bad squad. You're really rolling the dice. And hey, if everything goes great, wonderful, but there's so much can go wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we could be down 2 starters almost instantly, but on the other hand, we weren't going to get any of the other stars. And
yeah, but you don't have to get a star. You don't have to build it. The draft. Why not build through the draft?
Because we didn't have a draft pick.
We have one this year.
Yeah.
We have one going forward. We could have traded Melo. What we could have done was traded Robin Lopez after we see freaking Maz get $800 trillion to be a terrible center. We could have probably got a draft pick for Robin Lopez. We could have been getting draft picks this whole time. I think Phil Jackson has done, I think less of Phil Jackson now. I feel like he should have come here and tried to really build a team. Instead, he said, the New York media is really tough. I'm going to like fumble around with some draft picks, get some money, and just try to win now, and then call it quits when we make the second round. Do you think, where's this team going? Are we going to the finals with this team?
No.
Here's how we're really contending. We're really contending if Derrick Rose somehow regains his prior form, his MVP form, which, let's see, how many players have gone through major injuries where their career bottomed out and became as good as they were before? Let's see, Derrick Rose would be the first one, hopefully. Noah, injured most of last year, also was already bottoming out, had his 2 worst years of his career. Now we signed him for a truckload of money. But you know what? There's probably a lot of other examples of guys like Noah. Like, it would be Rose and Noah would be the first 2 examples of people having their career go this bad and kind of rising back to where they were before.
Chris Webber.
Yeah, I guess there are examples.
Michael Jordan at like 23 broke his foot and missed the whole season.
Yeah. Do you think this is the same thing as Michael Jordan breaking his foot?
Yes,
I'm not
probably.
saying it's the same thing as getting injured and being gone for a while. I wouldn't be upset if Noah just was injured last year and you got him back and he's going to be healthy. That wouldn't annoy me. It's that the year before he was terrible. And he was having a terrible season and he's 31 years old. I think we're trying to look at this and go, hey, here's like, just look at like the most optimistic outcome, but like this could really go poorly. And Melo's been, the last couple of years, Melo misses at least 10 games a year. He's always injured also. He's got tons of nagging injuries.
So you're not even going to take 10 minutes to get excited about this team?
I know. I kind of wanted to go more positive, and yet you're dragging the negative out on me.
How am I doing that? I'm excited about this team. I don't know.
Like, do you think, what are you expecting from Rose? I think the point, obviously we should be better than last year.
Yeah.
But how much better are we? What seed do you think we are?
Much better.
Where are we?
I mean, okay, look. Last year we had Calderon and Sasha as our starting backcourt.
No. I want to know wins. How many wins? What playoff seed should we be? Because it doesn't really matter who we have on the team. It's matter where we go.
We get 48 wins.
Okay, so you're improving by about 15 wins.
Yes.
Right.
And second round.
Okay. So we've gone all in to win not even 50 games?
We didn't go all in.
I mean, we're going now.
We have
no. I mean, now we have the Noah, the court lead.
We didn't go all in. You know why?
Why?
This is the other big news that we didn't talk about yet. Kevin Durant is now in the Warriors. Right?
Right. He doesn't opt out after 1 year. You think he's coming here now?
No.
You think Westbrook is coming here now?
Westbrook 2017. This has all been in the plans. This is the long game.
Are you trolling me?
You got Derrick Rose for one season.
Are you trolling me?
And then Derrick Rose leaves.
Are you goddamn trolling me?
And then
what the hell's wrong? Are you kidding me? Westbrook is not coming here.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lock.
Oh my god! What the hell are you talking about?
It's-
Are you just messing with me the whole show?
No, I mean because Durant's gone, they're gonna have a bad season, and he's gonna get mad. And
By the
he's
way,
like,
we're gonna get to Durant in a second, but like, ooh, what's the best way to guarantee I go to the finals? Let's see. I'll go to the team that went to the finals last year, and I'll take out their best competitor by leaving that team.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, at least he didn't have an ESPN special to announce this, but I think this is so like, wow, Durant. I guess you weren't about trying to really win a title. You were about kind of being along for the ride. It's like, hey, Durant, you have a chance to be great, and he's like, Robert Horry has a lot of rings. Let me try to have his career instead of having a.
I mean, it's not like he wasn't on a team that had 2 All-Stars. I mean, Westbrook.
No, he
Ibaka
was on a
were
great
no-
team, but the team was drafted and it was developed, and he was one of the best players. And you came so close. Instead of saying, "Hey, next year we're going to come back and fight and win it," I'm like, "Hey, let me join. If you can't beat him, join him."
I would say that if the owner wasn't cheap and made a bunch of decisions based on money. Remember 2 years ago when they kept downgrading their shooting guard, and I said this is going to piss off Durant.
I know. I kind of actually like the move they just made, though. Getting
Oladipo for Ibaka.
yeah, got a draft pick. Also, they're getting younger. Ibaka, like, because they have Adams now, you don't necessarily need Ibaka anymore.
It's true. It's true.
And the guy they signed was supposed to be the guy they drafted was supposed to be pretty good. You have a chance to have a sustained winner as opposed to just. I don't. I didn't think Ibaka added that much with Adams anymore. I didn't think it made that much sense to have him around.
That's true, and Roberson was the weakest link in the starting lineup.
Yeah, the team got better. Oladipo was a good defender.
He is. I actually, I like that move for Oklahoma City. I don't get why.
I actually would have said if Durant had resigned, I would have put them the favorite over Golden State. I think they would have been able to beat Golden State. But Durant said, "Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to like beat them when I don't want to. I just want to join their team. It's so much easier when I don't even have to play anymore. Curry will play for me instead."
So, are you saying that you're going to put the Warriors ahead of the Thunder now?
Oh my God, I'm so rooting against the Warriors now. I dislike Durant immensely after this.
I mean,
I just think it'd put one of those moves that like it'd be like Michael Jordan going like, "Hey, we didn't beat the Pistons, so I'm going to join the Pistons," or LeBron saying, "Hey, like let me join Dallas. I'm gonna opt out of Miami and go to Dallas because they beat us in the finals."
their bench is going to be nothing now, though.
They lost a lot of guys. And apparently, instead of signing actually not that I really wanted an injured Bogut, but they gave Bogut away for nothing for a second-round pick.
Did they?
Yeah,
I didn't even hear about that.
Dallas.
Bogut to Dallas. You know what? Bogut was down to like 18 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's not really playing, and he was the guy. He's the guy that if he could stay healthy, he'd be pretty. He'd be pretty
their
good.
Lineup when Bogut was playing,
I'm actually surprised with his injury history. The Knicks weren't like front runners to get him.
Yeah, their lineup when Bogut was healthy was destroying teams. It's just the problem is you can't play the guy for more than 20 minutes a game, and you can't have a starting center that does that.
Well, who's their starting center now?
Green.
So they don't really have a center.
They're
I know they have the lineup of death, but
yeah, they're just small ball all the time now.
I don't blame you if you're power forward. I guess Durant your power forward.
I guess
Durant's your power forward, and he's 7 foot. You don't necessarily need a center.
Right, but now they're missing a 3.
We got Curry, Klay Thompson. You got who's the fourth? Iguodala, make him your fourth starter.
I think they might have to lose him to pay Durant.
Do they?
I think so.
I would love to get him. That's a guy I would love to get. The Knicks can't afford him, but
Hey Iguodala, you want to play on the Knicks for $2.6 million? We might be able to up that to 2.7.
Other moves they have to make to get the clear space.
I mean, I read a couple months ago that to get Durant, they would have to get rid of Iguodala, Barnes, and either Barbosa or Livingston, like decimating their bench.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Whatever. I guess we'll. So going back to the Knicks, so I would say if you wanted a sustained winner for the long term, the only thing I can say about Phil Jackson is he has Porzingis, and that makes me not desperately sad. But I feel like this is not the way to go about it. If you want to win now, this is okay. I mean, it's taking a gamble. Hey, if Rose gets really better and Noah plays back to form, we could be a pretty competitive and fun team. And if Westbrook comes here riding a unicorn, with the four horsemen behind him, like it's what? Do you really believe the Westbrook thing is happening?
Oh yeah.
You're kidding me, right?
Oh yeah.
Why do you don't believe this? You're
No, I don't.
Okay. The Westbrook thing's not really happening.
No, what happened with Durant leaving is that it clinched 12 straight months of Westbrook to the Knicks in 2017 talk.
Oh my God. We have to get over. Here's the thing: what people don't get. If you're a free agent, one of these guys, these superstars, where do you go? You go to a team that can win you a title. LeBron said, hey, I'm going to go to Miami and join up with my friends so I can win a title. Durant said, I'm going to go to the Golden State to win a title. They don't want to go to the Knicks. They don't want to go to a team where they have to, like, where they're going to be in a worse position to win the title. They don't want to go, oh, you know what? I'll be remembered really greatly if I win New York. And they're like, hey, screw it. I'd rather just win somewhere else.
So where do you think this puts the Knicks now? Let's assume for now, because I don't hear anything about the guys being injured right now. So let's just say they're healthy.
I can't just say they're healthy. I think we're probably winning about 45 games. We'll probably make the second round, maybe.
It's weird because I said 47 in second round, and you crapped all over me. And
I'm crapping all over the fact that this is. I don't think we're much better than this. I want to get a team that actually competes for tries to go to the finals, versus getting a team that in 5 years we're rebuilding again. What we're doing here basically is guaranteeing for the next 5 years or next year or two, our draft picks will be terrible. Mm-hmm. And we're not doing anything to build around Porzingis. We're better off saying, hey, LeBron will be out of the league in 5 years when Porzingis is going into its prime. Let's build a team for 5 years from now when we'll be really awesome.
Maybe
and getting there will be kind of fun because we'll have a lot of young guys to root for. Would you rather be – who has a better future right now, Philly or the Knicks? Or Minnesota or the Knicks?
Well, Minnesota, definitely. I don't know about Philly.
I don't know what Philly's doing. But the Philly, they may not be – like you add some free agents to Philly and they could be really good really fast.
True. So,
I just – not that I want to be Philly and tank every year, but it just – I don't like the process of every time just taking – I mean, how is this any different than what they've done every time?
What if they're building a perpetual winner?
Really? A perpetual winner?
Yeah.
31-year-old Noah, who's coming off the 2 worst years of his career. Derrick Rose, who's never going to be like the MVP Derrick Rose again. This is going to be a perpetual. And Melo, who's still pretty good, but like he's going to get worse and worse every year. This is a perpetual winner.
Jennings, Holiday, and Hernan Gomez are all young. And Porzingis. So you got 4 young guys. Yeah, in a couple draft picks.
I also don't like Galloway was a solid guy off the bench. And I don't think he was anything that special. What
was
kills
garbage
me
for the last 3 months.
Last year, at some point our team became terrible. And Phil Jackson said, screw the extra roster spot, screw trying to develop players. Don't sign Tim Frazier, who we'd love to get right now is Tim Frazier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There are so many guys that got so much money right now who were available to the Knicks the last couple of years. Tyler Johnson, who got $50 million, was available to the Knicks. There's so many other guys who got huge contracts who weren't drafted or were drafted late second round. The Knicks said, and we're in the D League, and the Knicks just didn't want to try to like sign any of these guys.
Yeah, but look, Rose is on a 1 year. Jennings is on a 1 year. Then
right, we'll have a lot of money, and then next year we'll sign whatever pretty like shiny names come up. I don't see how this is any different than what the Knicks have been doing the last 10, 15 years. I don't see how it's – I mean, maybe it works out
if
better,
this was the last 10, 15 years, all these guys would have been on 5-year contracts. So now, like, if it doesn't work out, you can get rid of these guys.
But, like, is Derrick Rose that much different than signing, like, acquiring a Stephon Marbury, except for the contract's shorter?
Yeah, because, like, Rose can potentially be good.
Marbury was potentially going to be really good.
He was really good for that one season.
He had a great 1 year the year before he tanking out for.
I mean, you can't crap on the Marbury contract because he was so good that first year. Like,
and he had a really good like resume up to that point.
Right. So you can't say that was a terrible move at the time.
And Eddie Curry had a great resume up to that point.
No, that was a terrible move at the time.
the thing is, his first year was actually pretty good. Look at his first year numbers.
It was still a terrible move. I mean, we knew he had a heart condition. We knew he had weight problems. Like
we knew Noah had coming off major injuries. We knew Derrick Rose coming off major injuries.
Again, Derrick Rose is expiring. Then you have money for Westbrook.
Westbrook is not coming here. These guys aren't coming here. We have to start with this BS crap about these guys. So I'm being super negative. I know every Knicks fans wants to be really positive about this thing, and I do. I'm trying to put the negative behind me, just root for this team. And I do like. I have to say, Rose is not a bad gamble. I don't like giving up on developing guys, but he's not a bad gamble. Noah, I don't love the Noah signing. I mean, Noah in his prime is great. I'm just wondering how good he's going to be going forward. You were saying last year, I was saying the Knicks should try to get a 1-year flyer on Noah, and you were like, "Oh my God, it'll be horrible if he's on the team."
Yeah.
You were so against the Knicks going after Noah.
So next year, Steph Curry is a free agent.
LeBron will be a free agent because he's a free agent every year. Steph Curry will probably be a free agent. For now on, actually, all the players are going to be free agents every year.
We could have Chris Paul next year. We could have Blake Griffin. We could just move the Clippers over to the Knicks.
We moved the Bulls over already. I mean, do you not hate? How do you not hate giving up on trying to rebuild the team?
So we could have Kyle Lowry. We can
do you want to build through the draft every year? Every year, have 12 new guys on the team going every year, guys that wear name tags every year on the start of a training camp.
There is a lot of point guards next season that we could replace Rose with if it doesn't work. We could get Jeff Teague.
Oh, God. That's not how you win. You win by building through the draft and having the same roster year after year that gets better.
We could have George Hill.
Oh, kill me! I really, really hate this.
We could have Sean Livingston.
I hate that every year we've done the show, we've had a completely different roster year after year, and now I'm supposed to get excited because we've managed to redo the roster again, and the roster looks, on the face of it, if you just look at the names, everyone looks pretty exciting. I don't know, but we're excited about Courtney Lee, we were excited about Aflalo, we're excited about
Were we excited about
Porzingis is going to get the Porzingis is going to get the ball less.
I think you have revisionist history here.
What? We weren't excited about Aflalo?
I don't think we're very excited. We talked ourselves into Aflalo.
We're going to talk ourselves into this roster. What percentage of chance do you think this roster? How many injuries do you think this chance? I guess I was trying to think of the best way to put it. Our 5 starters. How many games do you think next year they'll play together? As 5 starters. What's your over-under? Okay, I'll give you actually over-under 41 games together.
Under.
You actually think it's under 41 games together and you still are this happy about the roster?
I am avoiding all hate mail for this week. I am having a nothing but positive episode.
Oh, my God.
You, sir, are going to get shredded.
Oh, I should get shredded. I mean, this will be worse than the Derrick Rose interview.
This is supposed to be a happy moment in Knicks fan history.
I just don't want to get set up for the exact same. Phil Jackson came here and just said, "Hey, I'm going to insert my system. It doesn't really matter what happens with the roster. I'm going to make a bunch of trades. Every year, whoever Phil acquires every year, we have to trade assets to get rid of whoever he acquires. It's been unbelievable. We traded Tyson Chandler, didn't even try to get a draft pick. Got Jose Calderon, been trying to trade assets to get rid of him ever since. We J.R. Smith, was a starter on the NBA championships, we gave him away. We were deathly afraid of his $6 million contract. He was getting paid $6 million a year, and Phil Jackson's like, we need that money for what? I don't know what the money was even needed for in the first place. He traded, not that Shumpert's all that great, but we're trading assets to get rid of guys. I don't know what he's even doing.
You're acting like this is a new occurrence for a Knicks fan. This is what we do. We get excited in the offseason. we still maintain a mild optimism in November. We start getting grumpy in December, and then we're miserable in January. The issue
here is
the cycle.
In the last couple of years, I found a reason to get excited. Coming to last year, I was like, well, Porzingis, I'm excited about him. I'm excited about some of the guys we're getting. That guy Grant should be pretty good. Every year I can talk myself to be excited. This year it's so easy to foresee the trouble that's around the corner.
Okay, how about this? We got 6 new guys, and almost all of them are upgrades over the guys we had on the roster last year.
Hard to argue against that. Yeah, no, it's hard to argue when healthy. It's just if they're going to be healthy. You know what? And if they're healthy, if Noah and Rose play over 70 games each, the team should be pretty good.
I mean, look at it last year. We had our backcourt was Calderon, Aflalo, Galloway, and Sasha.
Yeah.
And
we don't have Sasha on the roster yet, so that's good.
And now we have Rose, Courtney Lee, Holiday, and Brandon Jennings. I would much rather that.
Do you understand the logic, though, of like Jerry and Grant? People look at him, they look at his stats, they say, this is who he is. He's a bench player. He'll never be good. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, Derrick Rose is amazing. You're like, well, his stats were horrible last year. And they're like, no, but he's Derrick Rose. You're like, but the exact same argument you use like Grant, I could say about Derrick Rose. And you're like, no, but he's Derrick Rose. Like, the stats on Rose and on Noah were terrible last year. I'm not saying that's who they are, but I'm saying you can't.
Derrick Rose is a former MVP and multiple-time All-Star. I don't want to hear this trash.
Grant was getting better. People are going to say, all the hate mail is going to be like, Grant wasn't anything that special. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah. And rightfully so.
Yeah, no, I'd rather develop a team. Like,
yes, they all have points.
They all have points. I guess, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I have to say this is going to be super interesting to watch. I'm very excited. I really wish it was November already because I really do want to see what the team does. And I'm not rooting for failure. I'm rooting for success. I want the team to be really good.
Now say it like you mean it.
And you know what? The last couple of years, everyone's been injured. And it hasn't been like, I mean, we didn't know Tyson Chandler was going to be injured, even though he'd come off a career of being injured. Chandler was actually healthy for a lot of the time we had him. I don't know. It's just the whole of. Would you rather be the Celtics or the Knicks?
Celtics.
Is it even close?
No.
Besides your absolute.
Well, no, because they totally heisted the Nets, and they're still getting draft picks for 2 more years from the Nets.
This is what it feels like. It feels kind of like we're the Nets without losing all the draft picks, in the sense of we got all these guys. They were all big names. And the Nets just crapped their pants because it wasn't really that good of a team.
But they were all long-term contracts.
They made the second. It was a second round of the playoffs, and I feel like that's all we're going to do. I feel like our ceiling is hopefully the second round of the playoffs.
See, if I was being negative, I would say that trading away Lopez to get Rose has no good outcome because if Rose gets injured, you get rid of him, and then you also lost Lopez.
And Grant. You basically traded.
And if he plays good, you're probably going to get suckered into a long-term contract that won't work out. But I'm not saying that because I'm not being negative today.
They cleared everyone was like, oh well, you know what? At least they cleared all this cap space when they made the Lopez trade, and they didn't because they immediately gave the cap space away. They weren't trying to clear cap space. It was just about taking a gamble on Derrick Rose. That's all it was. I mean, how does Phil Jackson say, "Here's my best signing I've made"? The best free agent signing I've made since I've taken over the Knicks was Robin Lopez, and I traded away an asset, my second best draft pick I've made, to get rid of him the following year.
To get a former MVP.
If Phil Jackson's name was anything else, you'd be calling this guy crazy.
Do you think Justin Holiday is any worse than Grant?
We'll find out. I mean, maybe Justin Holiday would be good. He's a little bit older. He's not even that much older. I think he's 27 versus 25. He could be good, and he's a shooting guard, and they say he's okay in defense.
See? So there you go.
If his name was if it was instead of freaking Phil Jackson, if it was James Dolan, we would say he's insane for all the moves he's making the last couple of years. Outside of the Porzingis draft pick, because the Porzingis draft pick is the only saving grace so far for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to be positive the whole episode.
I am.
Okay, I don't want to do this to death. Why don't we move on? So, Kevin Durant, what's your take on the Durant?
I'm torn because there were some times where the owner was cheap, and I could see him not wanting to support that guy.
They were on the verge of winning the title. They were on the verge of going to the finals. They were very close to beating Golden State.
That's the counterpoint, to be that close and to walk away from it when he could have just signed a 1 year and then left, if it didn't work out next year.
I would have been totally cool if he signed 1 year and just said, let's give it one more run. I understand that he's very much tied to what Westbrook does. Westbrook was going to be there for one more year.
Right. And then with the Warriors, I don't know. You won 73 games, but now you completely rejiggered the roster where now you might have chemistry issues. You definitely don't have nearly as good of a bench. They had a potential dynasty going. I mean, they could have made the finals next year easily, and now, I don't know. They're going to have a great starting lineup, but with the bench, they're an ankle roll away from not being a good, not a good team, but, not a contender.
So, is there any chance this team wins 73 games next year?
Yeah.
You think so? I think they're winning less than 73 games.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they're probably not going to break the record for all-time wins again, but
it's just funny that you sign Kevin Durant and you're probably guaranteed to have a worse record.
Yeah, I mean, they could if all 5 starters stay healthy and they all play 40 minutes a game, then they could do it. But that is probably not the smart thing to do.
I mean, the guys they lost also. I mean, I don't think losing Harrison Barnes was not that great. I mean, we'll see how he is in Dallas, but he did not he's a little overrated. I think he was overrated. Bogut played 20 minutes a game. They obviously upgraded the roster overall.
Yeah.
I mean, you upgrade, I guess, yeah. Do you sacrifice the bench to get your starting lineup to this level? Do you think it's going to be an issue? All those guys need to shoot the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Durant is used to shooting the ball a ton.
Right.
Curry is used to shooting the ball a ton. Klay Thompson shooting the ball a ton. Is that going to be an issue?
I don't know. Maybe they try and go to 7 seconds or less so they could all get enough shots.
D'Antoni probably should coach this team.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, back to the Knicks real quick.
Yeah.
I just want to get your take on all the new guys. Individually, because obviously, as a whole, you're not very happy about it.
Here's the thing where I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what the overall... So, I'm not happy with the overall direction of the team.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the players, I don't love... I love Rose if he's healthy. I have my strong doubts about how good Rose will be.
Mm-hmm.
But he should be 2 years after you have this kind of surgery. That's when you're supposed to be back to where you were. And
right.
Now it'll be 2 years. So Rose should be better than last year. I mean, it should look better. It
Mm-hmm.
should be something where we're going to like what we get from Rose. And what we get from Rose should be so much better than we've been getting from point guard for all these years that it should be hey, this is not a bad move. He's not going to be great on defense, but he should be pretty darn good on offense.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be better than Calderon and Felton and whatever trash we've had.
Yeah, so this is the best point guard already I'm this could be the best point guard we've had since Mark Jackson.
Right.
But I still don't love the move and the 1 year deal. I agree with you. The 1 year deal, the problem is that either he's bad and we've got nothing for trading all those guys away, or he's really good and we're going to go all in on a 5 year max deal and then be screwed. By the way, Mike Conley, $30 million a year.
The highest contract in the history of the NBA.
Went to Mike Conley.
5 years, $153 million.
How mad are you if you were not a free agent this year? If this year or next year, I think this is the ultimate. If you were a free agent last year and signed a long-term deal, you're just angry at yourself.
Yeah, you pretty much had your money doubled if you waited till this year.
I also don't even think I think so many of these contracts are going to look bad going into next year that I think even though there's going to be more money on the table, teams will not spend as wildly as they did this year.
Right.
Did you disagree?
No, this is completely wild.
This is insane.
So let's touch on some of the moves the other teams made.
Wait, do you want me to go back to the rest of the roster?
Sure.
You want to get okay? So
Courtney Lee.
Well, let's just do the two guys. Two guys that drive me a little bit crazy. Rose, Noah. Noah again is a guy. If I had him 3 years ago, I'd be like.
Oh, I mean, if we had this roster in 2011,
oh my god,
we would have. Every show would have just been us having an hour-long orgasm.
Yeah, someone joked on. I think I'm not going to get exactly how he said it on Twitter, but it was something like this current roster with Porzingis, or the 2011 version of this roster with the 15-year-old Porzingis. What do you like better? Yeah,
the 2011 team.
Yeah. So Noah, I mean, I'm gonna say maybe I guess Phil Jackson was gonna do pull-ups on his arm. So I guess apparently his shoulder's better. I don't know, whatever. And so he plays really hard. He's a guy that's going to motivate. He's going to do the Tyson Chandler role, or maybe the Rasheed Wallace role, of really motivating the team.
I forget who it was. It might have been George. He was saying your biggest complaint last year was Lopez getting the ball at the 3-point line.
And he's going to be able to pass. Yes, that was a good point.
Noah's a good passer, and he could actually pass out of that.
He can initiate. I still hate the idea of I don't even want Noah to get the ball up there. I don't understand that idea of the offense having the center get the ball at the 3. But Noah's a great passer.
2 years ago, it worked really well for the Bulls. If you remember, Noah was getting like triple doubles.
No, you're right. Yeah, I know you're exactly right. Noah is a very good passer for the triangle. He makes a ton of sense. So I feel like it's, again, a move with a lot of upside. The Courtney Lee move, the good things about it, he's a solid defender. He's not a great defender. He's a solid defender. He's someone that
he's definitely a plus defender.
Doesn't need to shoot a ton. He's just a decent percentage. He plays hard. I've always liked Courtney Lee. He's always been like a guy of like, I wouldn't mind getting this guy in the Knicks.
Yeah, I remember saying that back when he was on the Orlando Finals team.
Yeah.
He's probably our most consistently good shooting 3-point shooter in as long as I can remember.
Kerr. Not Kerr. I mean, the White Hope. What's his name? Kerr would also be a White Hope.
Novak?
No, Novak. Yes, Novak. Novacan.
Yeah, but, I mean, he was kind of like, we'll put him in for 10 minutes and try and hide him on defense. This is a guy who actually can play in the rotation.
Well, actually, Calderon was actually a pretty good 3-point shooter. But in all fairness,
before he got to the Knicks, yeah.
He actually wasn't that bad with the Knicks. But so I like the Courtney Lee move. The rest of the roster, Brandon Jennings, I was out all day today, did not have my phone with me, had no updates. I was at the pool with the kids, got home, saw all this. I was ecstatic about the
last
Jennings.
Last offseason, you were pushing hard for Jennings, so I had a feeling you'd be happy about that.
Yeah, no, I love the idea. He's a guy that he drives to the basket. He has a lot of upside. He's young, and he's one like if you're gonna get a guy with off of injury who has a lot of upside, a 1-year, $5 million deal sounds great to me.
Yeah.
So do we get bird rights with him, or do we get bird rights with? I don't know how the bird rights work.
It's something like if they aren't a free agent in the last 3 years, then
no,
you
I
get
don't
the
think
bird
it's
rights. Like you could trade for them, they just can't have been a free agent.
Oh, okay. So we don't get because we have Rose's bird rights, right?
Right.
Okay. Anyway, I love the idea. Jennings, I think is a good move. Galloway, you're right. Galloway's not that great. I thought he had some potential to develop. He's a decent defender.
He's on the list of players that we liked more than we should have, just because he was on the Knicks and he had like a month that was really good.
By the way, as far as players we like more than we should, one of the guys got $22 million, got $11 million a year. Cole Aldridge. Remember how much we liked him, even though like he wasn't that good.
I still wouldn't mind him as a backup center.
I was thinking that like, he wouldn't be a bad guy to get as a backup. I can't believe he got $11 million a year.
Did he? I thought he got $7 million a year.
Did he get $7 million a year? Or was it 3 years, $21 million?
I thought it was 3 years, $22 million.
Okay, no, you're right. 3 years, 22.
$7 million. I mean, the way these contracts are now, I would love him as a backup for $7 million.
Yeah. Kirmag Gomez, whatever the hell. You have to have a guy on the roster. I can't pronounce the name. I love that. I absolutely love that. I don't know how. I haven't seen any highlights of the guy. He's supposed to be pretty decent. He's another young player. I'm ecstatic to have him on the roster.
So look at that. I got you to be positive for like the last 10 minutes.
Lance Thomas, I'm very happy they brought him back also.
It was a $6 million a year.
I had to say, I thought, which is probably like, if you translate it to last year, it was like $4 million, translated to like when we were 10 years old, it's getting paid like $1 an hour. Lance Thomas, I thought, was a guy that needs to work on his offensive game, but I think he'll get better on offense. He can defend multiple positions. I thought of all the Knicks free agents, I thought he's probably my number one guy to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Did you have of all the Knicks free agents? Is there anyone you wanted back more?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's more of an asset, more useful asset than Galloway, and I'd like to get Galloway back still. I don't care about Derek Williams. I'm fine with just losing, and I'm fine with losing. Aflalo, I'm glad we lost.
Oh, I figured out what the Warriors did.
What?
They replaced Bogut with Pachulia.
Look at Pachulia's stats.
He had a good season at the beginning of the season, and then
What
he
happened to him?
disappeared for some reason.
Because he's a guy, actually, I was like, he would not have been a bad. So one of the things I was thinking with the trade, before they got Noah, I was thinking with the Lopez trade, Phil might have said, hey, Porzingis should play a lot more center for us. Hey, maybe the reason I don't want Lopez here, the reason I want to make this trade is not that I don't like Lopez, is that I'd rather Lopez not hog a position. I hog minutes from Porzingis. We're going to go more small ball, put Porzingis at center for like 25, 30 minutes a game, and then get another center who's like a reasonable guy to play 10 to 20 minutes a game and not like need starter minutes. And I thought I was thinking of Pachulia as being a perfect guy.
Pachulia at $2.6 million is a steal.
Oh my God!
He had
Is that how much they got him for?
He had his best season in 10 years last season.
He's a guy that can get you a solid 10 rebounds a game. Let me put what his actual stats were.
Yeah, he got 9.4 rebounds in 26 minutes a game. That's
How did he not get like $40 million?
I know.
How did he not get the same money Mozgov got?
I don't get it.
He's free. He should take his agent and just shoot him.
Yeah.
And everyone will be like, that's murder. Did you see what Mozgov got and I didn't get?
Yeah, seriously.
They'd be like, oh, that's I can at least he's got a solid motive at least.
Do you think players are going to their agents now saying, I want Mozgov money?
I mean, yeah. I mean, and
Okay.
I don't. That is unbelievable. So that's what I thought. I thought maybe I had all these theories in my head of like maybe that would make me happy of why Phil made that trade. And he said, "Hey, I want to clear Lopez out of it, so I can put Porzingis at center, get another serviceable center next to him, and start really developing a team." I would have said, "Okay, that makes sense. I'm happy about that." But then they signed Noah, and they dashed all my hopes.
So let's do other free agents real quick because we're running long.
Yeah,
and we got a lot of questions.
Yeah, you knew this was going to be like a 2-hour show. How could it not be?
I
Like
know.
everything. This is the most that's happened before a show. Nothing. Has there been a show we've done in the entire time we've done this show that had more happen prior to the show?
No, never.
Even when they traded for Melo, that was one move.
Yeah, this is insane.
Oh, and to the rest is, and I don't know, with the Kyle O'Quinn, they're supposedly trying to trade, which he may have some value. I don't know, based on all the other guys are getting money. Maybe someone will want him.
I mean, with the contracts out now, $4 million a year is pretty much a free player.
Yeah, I don't know who's left. I mean, there's going to be a lot of guys out there who didn't get paid yet, who are available. I don't know who they can get on a good deal, but I imagine the Knicks could get like one or two guys that were like semi-decent for cheap whatever vet minimum contracts.
Do you think
Kevin Martin's a free agent still?
I'd take him as a backup. Do you think the Rockets are trying to build the worst defensive team of all time?
Well, D'Antoni's the coach, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now they have a starting lineup that has Harden, Eric Gordon, and Ryan Anderson on it.
I joked that if the Knicks had signed the reason the Knicks signed Courtney Lee over Eric Gordon was that the Knicks trading staff threatened to kill themselves.
I mean, the fact that Eric Gordon got a 4-year contract is amazing. He literally hasn't been healthy since his rookie season.
Is that amazing, or is that Solomon Hill got a 4-year, $52 million contract? What's more amazing? Dellavedova got $38 million over 4 years. Dellavedova did not play for the Cavaliers last year, but
Yeah, that's crazy. So it looks like
Chandler Parsons did nothing for the Mavericks last year, got an almost max deal.
What do you think of the Heat getting rid of their vets and just going with the youth movement of Winslow and Johnson and Whiteside? Because they got rid of
They maxed out Whiteside.
yeah, and
What
they don't have Joe Johnson and Dang anymore.
Yeah, that Deng got a lot of money. So what's the deal with Wade right now? Did they offered him $20 million or something like that?
Apparently, Wade's demanding $20 million a year, which is insane.
Is it really insane compared to what the other guys have gotten?
I don't know. Isn't he going to be like 34 this year?
I think he's probably. Let's look what he did last year. If you're going to go based on, because Dwayne Wade, Hall of Famer, he's a hell of a defensive player besides offensive player. The big issue with him is injuries, but I know there was a moment where there was a rumor he was going to the Knicks, and I know you probably hated the rumor.
My friend texted me, and I almost had a heart attack. Because
I
was getting texts like all week of like, this player's on the Knicks now, and then so I just figured it was another true.
I have to say, like, even though I've gone so negative about not rebuilding, if Phil Jackson said instead of Courtney Lee we got Dwayne Wade, I would have said screw it. We're going for we're trying to contend for the finals this year. I like the move. I would have been so excited about getting Wade.
I mean,
why would you not? You're against the move only because you think he's going to be injured.
No, because he's my least favorite player in the entire NBA.
But he's really good still. But just looking at the stats alone, the guy played 74 games last year. He averaged almost 20 points a game. What did he get? Got 4 rebounds, four and a half assists a game. He shot a good percentage. He can't shoot from 3, but he can get to the basket, and he's a heck of a defensive player.
Still hate him.
I mean, he's a step slower. He is 34. He's a step slower than he used to be, and the Knicks aren't getting him, so it doesn't really matter. But would you not take him over Courtney Lee? You would not think having Wade instead of Courtney Lee would make this team a true contender?
No. Courtney Lee is a better defender and a better 3-point shooter.
I don't know. He's better 3-point shooter. That part I won't disagree with.
You don't need him shooting with the guys on the team. Okay, so Wade just confirmed that Dwayne Wade. There's a Wade in the chat room. That Dwayne Wade. It's not. We don't have
what
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade. He's like Jay. This is what I'm doing. You announce it on the Knicks show.
2 years, $40 million sticking with the Heat.
Oh, has he signed? He's confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think it's smart though. You have to pick a direction. Either pick develop now or pick rebuild, and they're picking more of a. Well, I guess I don't know. I like going. I think the Miami's smarter going younger.
Okay, let's talk about the other big moves. Dwight Howard replaces Horford on the Hawks.
Hawks got worse?
Yeah, they also lost Jeff Teague. And Horford is going to the Celtics. Teague is going to the Pacers.
That's interesting. The thing is, the Pacers got rid of George Hill. Well, is Teague that much better than George Hill?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's a big upgrade. And they got Al Jefferson to replace.
Al Jefferson didn't get a lot of money because he doesn't play defense, and he's like one of those like traditional centers.
Right, but at $10 million, that's.
No, he didn't get a lot of money. His contract is pretty I mean, I don't understand. Mozgov got a huge deal, and Al Jefferson, who's actually performed in the NBA, got a shittier deal.
I think the Pacers are possibly the second best team in the East now.
So this player shot under 40% in their first year in the league. Actually, Teague's stats weren't that bad. First year. I started doing the thing with the Teague. Oh, that was per 36. Hang on. Per game. Oh, no, sorry. He averaged 3 points a game in 10 minutes a game, shot under 40%. The Knicks would have traded him or cut him, and that's Jeff Teague. It took until his third year to actually be good. Okay. Which the Knicks would never allow a guy to make it to 3 years. They weren't good the first 2 years.
What are the Kings doing? They signed a Flalo, 2 years, $25 million.
I'm pretty sure they're trying to drive Boogie Cousins crazy.
And they signed Matt Barnes to a 2-year contract because they lost Rondo, so they always have to have a head case on the team.
I thought you would have wanted Barnes coming here.
Of course I do.
Rondo actually a pretty cheap deal. He did not get
2 years to the Bulls.
He got the Bulls. What did they sign him for? 2 or 3 years?
2.
2 years. That was a pretty reasonable contract.
I don't think you'd want to sign Rondo more than 2 until he could prove himself to not be an asshole.
But the Knicks, at the same time, the Knicks didn't ask Noah to prove himself to be healthy.
Are you glad we didn't sign Batum 5 years to $120 million?
Holy crap! For a guy that isn't. I don't know what the love with Batum is.
I don't either. He's like the new Anthony Randolph. He's Mr. Potential.
Ton of potential, but he hasn't really been that great. He averaged 14 points a game, but and not everything's based on stats, but he wasn't that great.
No, and he's been in the league 10 years now.
I mean, part of it is the money. The money makes everything sound insane. But
that is insane though. To max out Batum.
Any more deals you want to cover before we have tons of questions?
I know we have so many.
Drummond got a huge deal. Beal got a huge deal. Oh, what do you think of the Nets? The Nets made some interesting moves. Jeremy Lin for $12 million a year.
I'm very jealous of the Jeremy Lin move.
I am too. I think that first of all, isn't it crazy that Jeremy Lin actually we thought his only chance to get money was when he left the Knicks. Now he's getting even more money.
Yeah,
I love that move for the Nets. I wish that would have been a great move for the Knicks.
It would have. It would have.
He's a solid. And the thing with Lynn is the guy that they were saying on the radio. They're like, hey, he's a guy that if you give him a chance to run an offense, he'll look really good. And that's the problem. When he went to Houston, he didn't get a chance to run an offense. The Lakers, he didn't really get a chance to take control. When he was in Charlotte, he got a great opportunity, and now he got a lot of money.
Yep.
They also signed Tyler Johnson. I guess the idea is that they think he's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. Lock him up while, before he really overperforms. Then you have to pay him like $25 million a year.
I don't know. Lock him up before he performs.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been that good. Oh, the Sixers just gave away Ish Smith, by the way. I don't understand. The Sixers were terrible. They lost Ish Smith joined the team last year, and that's the only time they actually looked decent.
I don't know. Maybe they're tanking again. Who knows?
Would you have taken Ish Smith as a nice backup? 3 years, $18 million? $6 a year? It's not bad at all.
It's not too bad.
Who's the third guy the Nets got?
Trevor Booker?
Oh, yeah. I don't really know what the Nets are doing.
I don't either.
Any other deals you want to talk about before we go to the questions? By the way, and Biyombo got the exact same money that Noah got.
Yeah.
I thought Biyombo would have been cheaper. I guess not.
No, I think Biyombo is the new James Jones.
So Biyombo or Noah, who would you rather? Same money. Clearly the same money.
Probably Noah. I don't know.
I mean, Biyombo does have more potential.
True.
Because Noah's on what you think is the downside of his career.
Jamal Crawford, 35 years old, getting a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Weird. There are a lot of and Pau Gasol got $15 million a year from the Spurs.
2 years with the Spurs. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Is there anyone out there right now that you're hoping the Knicks get?
I mean, there's not many left. What do we got? Harkless, Crab. I wouldn't mind Crab.
You're not getting Crab. Crab is still gonna get a big deal.
Kevin Martin, maybe.
I don't know. Certain teams like Philly, don't they have to spend $50 million more?
Yeah.
I don't know. They could just say, "Crab, we'll pay you $50 million a year."
That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like, and Harkless, you get $35 million.
Yeah, I mean, Harkless is another guy. I would love to get Harkless. We're not getting him for league minimum.
Yeah, like they're literally running out of guys to give money to. So I don't know what they're gonna have to. It's gonna be like Waiters, and Martin, like $20 million each.
Every year, there's guys that just miss out, and they're still around. So whatever. Okay, so let's go to the questions. So
okay, we got emails. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com.
Do you think everyone's gonna hate this show more than they hate the Derrick Rose one? They're gonna be like, "What kind of asshole are you, Mark? How dare you rain our parade?" That's all it's gonna be. And you decided to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be all positive about this because I'm not gonna be honest."
Andrew writes, "This is something to think about. Keep Porzingis at the 4, get a 5. That's a good defender, rebounder, and is a good pick and roll." But
some of these questions, by the way, came in before all the signings.
Right. But his offensive game's not so great, kind of like Tyson Chandler, but younger, so we can go big if we need to, go small. We can put Porzingis at the 5. Okay, so that's pretty much what we did with Noah. He also wrote...
Here's a question. Here's just to interrupt this. What's Porzingis' best position, you think?
Probably 4.
I think 5.
Yeah.
I think for his career long-term, it's going to be 5.
Yeah. I think long-term. I think right now he's still 4.
Okay. And where does Melo play best?
4.
So right now we're saying Porzingis is going to play mostly 4 and Melo's going to play mostly 3.
Right.
How is this good?
Because Knicks.
Defensively, we should be better, but Rose is going to be a better defender. I mean, they're better than we had last year on defense. But Melo was okay last year on defense. I don't know. You'd much rather see Melo guarding power forwards than trying to guard small forwards.
True.
That hurts you alone. Okay, go on.
Andrew writes, "I like you guys are upset about the D-Rose trade, but if Hornacek does more pick and roll, he can do his best going to the rim, and Melo's a good posting up and handing, but when he's does his best in the Olympics when he spot up shoots, and Porzingis is better shooting off pass, and maybe we can get a 3-and-D guy at the 2, and that team has a high ceiling. Well, we did get a 3-and-D guy at the 2, so
There you go. We did get that, and someone pointed out that the last time the Melo played the Olympics, he had one of the Knicks had wasn't that the 54-win year?
Yeah.
So it's probably a good thing he's going to try to play for the Olympics this year because he'll play with all these star players and be ready to actually play like a star this year. He should be motivated. I mean, if Melo's not motivated this year for the Knicks, I'm not saying healthy, but motivated, then he's insane. This is the best roster he's going to have had on the Knicks.
Yeah.
Is this roster better than the team that won 54 games?
Yeah.
Like, is it? I can't figure out how that team won 54 games.
I don't either. It was one of those just weird enigma things.
People keep saying, like when you hear them talk about it, and they're like, oh, well, we had Rasheed Wallace did so much, and like Kurt Thomas. And Rasheed Wallace played 13 games. Kurt Thomas barely played also.
Well, that, and they were both like 38 years old.
Jason Kidd was pretty decent for a while, but he was like decent. He was 40 when we like.
The Knicks, that team had 5 guys between the ages of 38 and 40.
Who was good for that team? Melo was good, obviously. Amari wasn't that good because anytime Amari played, the team was worse. Because when Amari was injured, the team was so much better.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith played pretty well, I guess.
Yeah.
By the way, J.R. Smith is still not signed.
Surprise, surprise.
How much money should J.R. Smith get?
5.
He should be getting like a 4-year, $50 million contract.
Well, money's running out.
It really is. I don't understand. Doesn't it? Like, I mean, it just seems like he has to be so baffled because he was in the starting 5 of a team that won the title, and he was actually kind of decent for them in the finals. I mean, he wasn't great or anything.
This is what Philly's maxing JR out.
That would be amazing. Trust the process. And J.R. Smith's their big signing.
Lorenzo writes, hey guys, the big question this week, is the world ready for another Knicks podcast? Locked On Knicks is up to episode 2 already. Don't worry, I'm not listening to it. Unless one of the hosts has a hot wife and can only do one task at a time, and the other has video editing skills and sleeps with an apnea machine, then it's not the podcast for me. Might be time to plan that Super Bowl ad after all.
Have you been listening to Locked On?
No.
It's actually, I listened to it. They had a couple good interviews.
You're not doing a good job at keeping our listeners. It's terrible.
Wasn't. And, here's the thing. It's just a bunch of what. I'm not going to knock. It's fine. I also. Do you want to say that the guy emailed us and we just didn't respond?
We got offered the Locked On podcast, and apparently we said yes slower than the Jared Dubin.
That guy also already had some people already knew who that guy was.
Right. It's just
I don't understand how the guy we had an email with. He said this guy who does Locked On sent us this whole business plan he wanted us to sign on for, and I was like, Jay, I can't do 4 shows a week because I have kids and I have too many other responsibilities. We debated this for 2 days. Then Jay called the guy and he'd already signed the other guy.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying. So that's why
I don't really know if the guy's going to make it. They have a whole business model where for every what was the business model?
I don't know. It was like you sell ads on the show and you make
If anyone wants to advertise on our show, please let us know.
Yeah.
But it was like every fifth, the guy who started, the guy in Utah. It sounds like he said he's getting 6,000 downloads. He had covered the team. It just seemed like the guy was trying to get people to work for him and take a percentage of it for not doing. It didn't make sense what the guy was taking a percentage for. So we were debating it basically.
Yeah, apparently 48 hours to completely revamp our entire podcast was too unreasonable.
I don't know. It seemed like he actually was he's like, Dear Jay, I want to tell you all about this, but he probably sent it to every podcast out there for he's probably just signing on a bunch of different podcasts for different teams or one per team and building this network and hoping it works out. It didn't make his business plan didn't make any sense why you suddenly would you would have so many more downloads than you already have. I said to Jay, I was like, well, why? What about his business plan? All he's telling you to do is make more shows and ask for advertisers.
I mean, I guess he was going to bring more than we currently have.
So his first podcast, like he did, like he had the guy from Posting and Toasting on. He had Chris Herring on. He had but it sounded like the way he was talking, like he would have player access during the season, which
He does have 15,000 Twitter followers, and we have 1,600. So.
well, he probably had that before the show started.
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
And he looks like the guy. I mean, the guy I listened to it, like it was a pretty reasonable podcast. Like it was interesting. I think the way Burger King, their big strategy for success was putting their all their locations across the street from McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that?
Yeah.
So the more Knicks podcasts out there, the better. The more it creates interest in just Knicks podcasts, the better for us, in my opinion. We have a totally different show than they have on Locked On because like they're doing a lot of episodes a week and we're not.
Great.
They're having really interesting interviews on. I'm just complaining about the team. They're trying to like give you up to the minute coverage. I'm doing a baby voice for Derrick Rose.
But I mean, their shows are like 15 minutes.
No, they were all like 40 minutes. There were 4 like 40-minute episodes this week.
All right.
I don't think he's going to keep this up.
No.
The model is to have 4 like 15-minute episodes just wrapping up giving game recaps. And the problem was I was no way I was going to be able to like watch every game and do a show after every game. I try to watch all the games, but then I got to go to sleep.
Nick writes, so I stayed up to watch the balls drop on Thursday to welcome our new free agents. While I didn't mind the D-Rose trade, I sure as hell don't like the Noah signing. WTF. Guys, why the hell are we Knicks fans? Seriously, we had a center that did work for 82 games, and we trade him for a rental who was always hurt. Again, I think Rose will be okay because it's a contract year. But Melo's getting hurt more often, and so is Noah, who effing Thibs grinded into the dirt. Can I come back on the show as a capologist? Because there are serious arguments that can be made about how to spend this money.
We should, if you're still listening and you still want to come on to tell us how to spend the money, let us know. I'd be happy to have you on the show for the interview.
Yeah.
But all the money's gone, so I don't know what they're going to tell us now.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to say...
For next year?
Or what we should have done.
That's fine. Jay, why don't you email him back and have him come on the show? Yeah, I mean, do you think Noah's going to be a lot better than, like, would you rather also, for going forward, would you rather have Noah or Lopez? Noah's a better passer, but Lopez was younger and was getting better. Noah might be getting worse.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Lopez. He was one of my favorite players on the team last year.
Yeah, I really like Lopez, but yeah, whatever. Go on. What's the next email?
The next email is from Lorenzo. Hey guys.
By the way, if Locked On starts doing like answering Facebook questions, I'm gonna get pissed.
Hey guys, let's say this new Knicks team gels really well and makes the finals in a major miracle. How pissed will you be if they get creamed by this mega team of death in Golden State Warriors? I would still be happy they made the finals. Beat them
in the West?
Yeah, I mean, I would just be happy that they made the finals.
Oh, I would be. I would say even the conference finals I'll be pretty ecstatic about.
Yeah, true.
But is it guaranteed Golden State Cleveland in the finals next year?
No.
I mean, it's not guaranteed, but like, who's going to beat Golden State next year?
I mean, the Thunder are now worse.
Yeah, the Thunder, no way. They lost Durant. There's no way they're competing for going to the finals. Though it would be amazing. It would be amazing if they did. Actually, they beat Golden State.
I mean, I think the Spurs are still really good.
Are the Spurs still really good? I mean, they're good. Yeah, actually, I guess have they gotten better, basically?
Maybe, because Powell is playing way better than Duncan was playing this year.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Fair point. That's actually a pretty good signing.
So, I mean, I feel like they still have question mark at the point because Parker looks like he's getting worse every season, and I don't think Patty Mills is up to the task.
I'm sure they have some like European guy we haven't heard of who's going to dominate.
I'm sure. And you feel like you got to think Aldridge's still going to be really good. West is a nice backup.
Kawhi is still one of the top players.
Kawhi is just going to get better. He's still like 24.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're going to be really good. I heard they're shopping around Diaw, which I would love on the Knicks.
Oh, that would be an amazing addition. I'd be so happy. The two guys I've always wanted the Knicks to get not as a main piece, but like I would love to have off the bench are Diao and Barbosa.
Yeah.
I would love to have one of those guys off the bench.
Those are two guys on one of my favorite Suns teams from a while back.
Really? You like the Suns? You love that team? Really?
Yeah.
The only guy we have a shot of getting on that team is Steve Nash now.
Yeah. Maybe Marion.
Yeah.
Any one of the retired guys from that team.
The more broken they are, the more likely we're. Actually, Joe Johnson, I would have thought actually might be realistic at this point, but I guess he's not. He's gone. Yeah.
Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, I didn't really mind KD as a person or a player, but I did hate OKC as an organization because of what they did to Seattle. Not sure if you've seen that documentary. I have not seen that. And because of all that fracking stuff that the owners are involved in, now KD has left, and earlier in the year, one of the co-owners killed himself. Now, if Clay Bennett, majority owner, gets cancer of the ass, that would be complete the karma trifecta. Hooray."
I mean, they were pretty. I mean, how awful is if you're a Seattle fan? You get Kevin Durant and the team leaves. Was Durant there when they were still in Seattle?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma, I've heard they were involved in the fracking, and Oklahoma apparently gets a lot of earthquakes these days. So, yeah, that's good email. Who's going to beat? So who's Cleveland? Cleveland obviously is probably favored to return to the finals. Who's challenging them? Who's the best competitors? Like the Bulls, they got Butler. The team's definitely worse than last year, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think Bulls fans are happy or upset with these moves?
I don't think they're that broken up about Rose and Noah leaving, but I think they're pretty upset with them getting replaced with pretty much nothing.
Yeah. I mean, they don't seem to love their coach either.
Right.
Bulls fans. But, yeah, I guess you didn't really replace him with anything. I guess you could basically just went younger. Well, basically, also, Noah wasn't even the starting center anymore when he was active last year.
Right.
He lost the starting job, and we gave him $18 million a year. Was it Bobby Portis, right? Bobby Portis has been in the league for 1 year. They like Portis better, and we signed Noah for $18 million a year for their backup.
Kevin writes, question for Mark. How does Mark feel that we couldn't get Thibs, but we're getting the whole Bull squad? I hear we're also getting their mascot, Benny the Bull.
We want the exact opposite of what I wanted. I was like, we really need those Bulls are great. We need to get Tibbs. They're like, we get Tibbs. We got the entire roster instead. That's a really funny email. I'm not happy. I don't mind Hornacek though. I like the Hornacek signing. So we'll see what happens. I like. He seems like he could be a good coach. I like that we're gonna go more pick and roll. So would you rather Tibbs or Hornacek?
It's close. Probably Tibbs.
Is it really that close?
I'm worried about him grinding our players into the ground.
Do you think that's kind of overdone? His grinding?
No, why? Because he did.
Why? Because every Knicks coach we've had plays Melo the exact same amount of minutes he played with Tibbs. The only way Tibbs would grind Melo is playing him 49 minutes a game.
I'm worried about him destroying Porzingis. I
don't know. I mean, he had that reputation, but I feel like most coaches we get are going to play about the same number of minutes. The problem with Tibbs is he makes them work. They have to work on offense and defense, or mostly defense, which takes more energy. And everyone's like, oh, I don't want to try on defense.
Yeah. Austin wanted to be Stack High too. So message me again, Austin. If you guys ask to be on the show and I don't respond, or just keep messaging me because I keep forgetting.
If you ask us to join your podcast network, keep messaging us.
Yeah, don't give it to somebody else after 48 hours. Kyle writes, does LeBron pull some stunts?
Still a free agent. Maybe we'll get LeBron. The greatest move ever. LeBron just signs on for league minimum. The Knicks.
Knicks Jets for
Why
life.
are these rumors out there? Why aren't we just saying LeBron just announced he has enough money? He wants to go team by team and get titles for every team in the NBA.
Knicks Jets for life. You asked for questions. He wrote nothing. It's been a slow NBA week.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Patrick writes, so What do you guys think of the Jennings signing? Low risk 1-year contract. I liked him before the injury.
Yeah, I love it. Good move.
Yeah, I think we're both on board with that.
If Jennings was our starting point guard, if we never made the road, if all they did was they kept Grant, they kept Roten, and they signed Jennings, I would have been ecstatic. Also, would you have been happy with that?
I wouldn't have been happy. I was never high on Roten. If we got Tim Frazier, I would have been a lot happier.
But just the idea of like, or say Grant and Jennings being our point guards, would that have been like happy enough?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the deal? So Roten, they said he undisclosed reasons they got rid of him.
The Pelicans?
No, the Knicks.
Oh, the Knicks.
Have the Pelicans already got rid of Roten?
I'm still thinking of Tim Frazier.
Oh.
Apparently they just weren't happy with his workouts.
I mean, this is twice also under Phil Jackson. They've signed a guy. He's never played for the team, and they've cut him.
Yeah.
I mean, we got one being Lamar Odom. It's just bizarre how, like, what are they doing there?
They're like a charity team. They're just like, hey, you want some free money?
Actually, I don't even know if he got much money from the Knicks.
I'm sure he didn't get zero money.
Probably.
When
true.
you say not much money, he probably got like $500,000.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like $500,000. That's like nothing. Jay pays me $18 million a year, so it's cool.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the Knicks. Like, they didn't evaluate any talent last year. They didn't evaluate anyone from the D League. They didn't try anyone out. And eventually, they gave a roster spot to Roten, and they said he wasn't going to play all year. And then they cut him before he got a chance to play.
Yep.
It's just bizarre. It's like, do you think the D League, the summer league team is an embarrassment, and speaks to the overall issues with the organization?
Yes.
I mean, how do you argue? I mean, you don't have to be really good at but you should have some, like, it's gotten worse. Like, the D-League team last year not the D-League, the Summer League team last year seemed like it had some decent players. Yeah. And every year you're just assembling, like, the Knicks are like, whoever wants to sign up could play in our Summer League. Why do you even have a Summer League team? And the Knicks really, what they should be doing is using every Summer League game to evaluate players in the other teams. Because they have some talent, and the Knicks could sign those players, but they won't.
This is going to be a long episode.
Okay. I know we have a bunch of questions to go on Facebook. A lot happened. Shut up, Jack. Go on.
The AIDS-Meister writes, what do you think of Jennings?
The AIDS-Meister?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a solid point guard pickup by Phil to back up D. Rose. And are the Knicks now playoff bound?
Their backup point guard is better than any point guard they've had in a long time.
I think the Knicks are a 5th seed.
Okay, so what's the ceiling for this team?
4th seed.
How many wins?
50.
You think can they get to 54 wins? That being the high watermark of our Knicks podcast career.
If everyone's healthy and they all play like they did when they were good, then yes.
They all play like it's 2012.
Yes.
Okay, so or 2011. What is failure? Give me the benchmark. Like, what's the worst they can do? What's the absolute minimum to not be failure?
Well, I mean, think worst case scenario: Rose, Noah, Melo, and Jennings all get re-injured,
and we get a high draft pick. And yay!
Yeah. No, worst case scenario is they all get re-injured, but they get re-injured like 60 games in, so that we still get a bad draft pick, but then we fall out of playoff picture.
Okay. Forgetting like those kind of really like Twilight Zone examples. Twilight
Zone? It's the Knicks. That's probably most likely scenario.
The Knicks zone. Okay, how's this? If the Knicks don't make the playoffs, has Phil Jackson failed as a team president?
Yeah, because he's going all in now instead of rebuilding. So like, this is your plan to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he's pushed his chips to the center. Outside of, he hasn't traded any draft picks, so he's better than what we've had before,
yeah.
And he still has Porzingis. But if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, he's basically a failure as our team president. And I don't think it's unfair to say after 3 years and you don't make the playoffs and you've already gone all in, you're kind of a failure, especially with all these bizarre moves.
Right. If you're basing the entire summer off of gambles, and
you've redone the roster every year,
right?
So eighth seed success?
No.
7th seed.
It's gotta be a little higher. If you get swept by the Cavs in the first round, I don't call that success.
I think at minimum he's got to get 6th seed here. I'd like the second round, but 6th seed would be my minimum for like it being an okay season.
Yeah.
And how do you even build off this? Let's say the Knicks make the 5th seed, and they make the second round of the playoffs, and they lose, and then you're kind of rebuilding the team again.
I mean,
you might lose Jennings, you might lose Rose.
Yeah, but you still got Lee, Melo, Porzingis.
Or you go all in on Rose.
Right. Or you get Westbrook in 2017.
Westbrook, LeBron. They're all coming here. Michael Jordan. I've heard Michael Jordan. I've heard James Dolan and Phil Jackson have an army of women that Michael Jordan is impregnating, and all those babies are signed. Okay, go on.
Joel John writes, who starts at shooting guard?
I'm going to go with Courtney Lee here.
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
you think they might go 2-point guard lineup again?
I hope they don't start Jennings because then you have no backup point guard. I mean, then you're saying we're going to play Justin Holiday a lot of minutes.
Well, he's not even a point. Justin Holiday's not a point guard.
He's not?
I thought he was a shooting guard.
Oh. Yeah, so don't do that.
They don't even have a third. They have 2 injury-prone. I don't know if I would say Jennings is injury-prone, but they have 2 point guards who have major injury histories and no third guy.
Right. Smart.
I imagine they'll have a third point guard by the time the season starts. Holiday is, just to confirm, he is a. You can go on with the questions.
Okay.
Why I take forever to look this up.
Lee writes, Jennings to New York, how?
He's a shooting guard. The only thing I thought it was like, well, they need another shooting guard, so it made more sense to go on.
Jennings to New York, how? That's 1 year, $6 million? I think that's how.
5.
1 year, $5 million. Yeah. Do you see Russ next year in a Knicks uniform? Say it's starting already.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why he would not go here. I mean, we're basically like, we're going to be in the finals this year, and Russ wants to win it all, so he's going to go to us. Yeah.
Life Ends writes, of the realistic moves still available, what do you like to see them do? What would you like to see them do?
Focus on guys under 30. Actually, I wanted guys under 30. Knicks don't do that, so I can't say I wouldn't mind if there's a guy out there who's a good vet who's 35, whatever.
Quinn for Diaw.
Yeah, Diaw would be amazing. Who else is available? Don't you have your free agent tracker there?
I closed it.
Oh, that was real helpful, Jay. Real helpful. I'm just going to close it, whatever.
Crab. That's not realistic, is it?
Oh, I know. Stevenson. Lance Stevenson.
Okay.
I think he's a head case, so I'm not sure if he would be worth it.
What about the immortal Norris Cole?
I would love Norris Cole. He's a solid player. I think he'd be great. He's a point guard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be a great guy to get. I would be very happy. I don't think you're going to get him.
Norris, I made the finals the first 4 years of my NBA career. Cole.
Yeah, he's a solid defender. He's like, I'd be a huge fan.
You know who else is a free agent?
Amari Stoudemire.
And Andrea Bargnani.
Perfect. Bring the team back.
Barbosa is finally a free agent.
I would love Barbosa.
Okay, so
there are a lot of good guys left that could finish out this roster. We'll see. I would guess that the next move won't happen tomorrow. There'll be some break. Do you want Derek Williams back?
No.
I 100% don't want him back. I think he needs minutes. He needs the ball. He's not going to be a guy that can play 10 minutes a night and contribute. It's a bad idea to bring him back.
He's also really bad on defense.
Really bad. But he needs to play 20, 25 minutes a game. And this roster, how are you going to play him 25 minutes a game?
Right.
It's not going to make sense.
Aaron writes, if we stay healthy, we'll be really good. I say 53 wins. What say you? I think we answered this already. We're saying somewhere in the high 40s.
Yeah, I'm going to say 45 wins.
Okay.
It's hard to say if we stay healthy because we're just not.
JH writes, how much worth is Derek Williams on the Knicks over Lance Thomas? I prefer D. Will. I definitely prefer Lance Thomas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Lance Thomas is a better defender. That's why I prefer him. We need guys that can play defense. He can defend. I think having guys that can defend multiple positions is huge. It's huge in this NBA. D. Williams cannot defend multiple positions. There's actually not a single position he can defend. He can just dunk and make some highlight dunks.
Right.
Which, sure, he'd look good on some passes from alley-oops from Derrick Rose, but
JH writes, what should the rest of the roster look like with the money we have left, which I think is around $6 billion?
By the way, does Dirk's still not signed? Does Dirk wait till the last minute to sign with Dallas every year?
Yeah, well, I mean, they lost Parsons. Chandler. Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk. Chandler Parsons got maxed out by the Grizzlies. So they lost Parsons and Pachulia. Their team is bad now.
Is it weird that he got that much money? Parsons? I mean...
Yeah, that's not a good contract. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Dirk is thinking about going over to the Warriors, too.
No. I think he's coming back to Dallas. You don't think?
I think he wants to, but Dallas is going to be bad. Like he's going to have to decide if he wants to like end his career on a non-playoff team.
So do you think he just well, I guess the question is, do you think he's I thought he's just like one of those guys who's just so loyal.
He is, but that only gets you so far. Like, are you loyal enough where you're like, okay, I'll just never win a championship, or do you actually just try and win one now?
Maurice Sprites is a free agent. He wouldn't be bad.
I'll take all the Warriors leftovers.
Nene's a free agent.
Nope.
No, I don't want him. Let's see who else. That's David West is a free agent. Oh, here's a guy I actually would really like. Gravitas Vasquez.
Yeah, why not?
He's a pretty solid guy off the bench.
The Beast? I don't think he's a free agent.
Oh, greatest point guard ever is a free agent.
Oh, Chalmers.
Yep, greatest point guard ever. He would be a solid addition to the team.
Yeah. JH writes, what should the rest of the roster look like with the money we have left? Oh, we already answered that. He also writes, how do you like Plumlee as a backup to Noah instead of O'Quinn? O'Quinn is owed $4 million next year. So didn't we draft the rights to another Plumlee?
That's what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like their third brother, but this one wasn't even drafted.
Oh, right.
They signed him. He was undrafted. Is he playing on the summer league team? Because if he's playing on the summer league team, then he's probably not good at basketball.
I like
that guy Barker, Ron Barker, who everyone was like mildly excited about, doesn't look like he can hit a basketball shot.
Right.
He's 2 for 28 so far?
I like how the Knicks are complying with the NBA rule that every team has to have a Plumlee or a Zeller on it.
I don't think going to the year with Plumlee as your backup center would be. I almost think that's like it's like NBA malpractice.
Yeah,
that would be insane. You need a backup. You need another center. I mean, I understand Porzingis is going to play center also. There has to be someone else to play center on the team. Aaron Brooks, he'd be another guy I would love to get as a backup point guard.
Random Prier writes, do you love the deals? Does Melo win a playoff series?
You know who's also available? David Lee.
There you go.
I if you haven't heard the rest of the show, I love the deals. I want to be positive. It's been amazing. I'm so excited.
Does Melo win a playoff series?
He's won one already. This won't be his first. I would think yes. I would. Who knows?
If they could get the 4 seed, I think they could win a playoff series.
If they lose in the first round of the playoffs, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Letting Galloway go for Jennings, like it?
If that was the move, then yes. I like Jennings better than Galloway.
Well, as soon as they signed Jennings, they rescinded their offer to Galloway. I like it.
Didn't they have the bird rights to Galloway?
Yeah, but the thing is, we know what Galloway is. You know?
No. I mean, couldn't they? Is there some? I don't know about the cap, but wasn't there some? If you have the bird rights, can't you keep both players?
Yeah, but I think we can offer him less now.
Okay. Well, I don't think Galloway's getting too many other offers, so he might be back anyway.
Right.
Like his competing offer might be from the Idaho Stampede. So I think there's a chance he might be back.
How much do you kick yourself though if they offer you 2.7, you don't respond, and then they offer you like 1.5? That'll be like getting offered a new podcast and then not responding quick enough, and then doing the same old one.
I'm pretty sure we would have just worked like 3 times as hard and with no significant difference in our zero income. Miles Plumlee's actually a backup. Maybe did he mean Plumlee, like the one in the NBA?
Yeah, maybe.
If you meant Miles Plumlee, if you didn't mean the one we signed, you meant the one that was already in the NBA, then I'd be totally cool with him.
Random writes, isn't KD joining a core of champs, back-to-back finals appearances with reigning 2-time MVP worse than LeBron joining Miami?
It does sound worse, doesn't it?
He didn't have an hour special on it.
That's the big difference. He didn't sound like an asshole when he did it. He didn't go, I'm taking my talents to the Golden Gate Bridge.
He didn't illegally collude to do it for 3 years.
He didn't what?
Illegally collude with the owners to do it for 3 years.
Well, you don't know he colluded with the players. Doesn't mean he colluded with the owners.
Yeah, I'm sure the owners just happened to have one person on the roster that year. It was literally Chalmers and nobody else on the entire roster. Just a coincidence. Yeah, just in case 3 All-Stars want to sign on this team.
Well, don't the Knicks try to do that all the time and no one's signing here?
Well, yeah, but they knew they were signing there.
Serafin's still a free agent. Do you think the Knicks should bring Serafin back?
No. Andrew writes, it's
I guess O'Quinn would be our backup center, by the way.
Yeah.
Until they get rid of him. Hopefully they get rid of him.
Hernan Gomez.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. You're right. We actually already have Hernan Gomez. So it's not malpractice because we have Hernan Gomez and we actually and we have Kyle O'Quinn. So we don't necessarily need another center. And if we get Miles Plumlee, I'd be very happy.
Andrew writes, it's called the Wimp Out Clause. # finish what you started.
Yeah.
Gucci writes, with this
is this worse? Do you think it's worse than Durant? I mean, worse than LeBron?
No.
And that's only because of the special.
Well, and the owners.
What about, okay, forget the collusion. Just the actual move. LeBron leaving Cleveland. Cleveland had like the best record in the NBA the year before. He left.
That's the thing. Cleveland was spending and trying, whereas OKC kind of screwed him 1 or 2 years.
But Cleveland had the best record in the NBA. He didn't make the finals, I guess, the year before he left.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, I'm going to instead of keep trying with Cleveland, I'm going to go with my 2 best friends or 2 of the other best players in the NBA. I'm going to go join and start a team with.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? I feel like that's better. I think than at least you don't know if you're going to win the title. Like, I don't know, joining the team that had the best record in the NBA and went to the finals seems ridiculous. Also, why didn't Durant just go to Cleveland instead? I'm surprised. Maybe he didn't watch Game 7.
I mean, they are going to got the team, the bench to get him, though. So it's not like they're just adding him.
What do you think about this? Vince Carter on our bench.
Sure.
Michael Beasley.
Sure.
Beasley played pretty well for the Rockets when they signed him, and he hasn't got signed yet.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'm looking through the list. There's actually a lot of decent players are still available. Like decent, not starting caliber players, but decent bench guys.
Right.
Including Raymond Felton.
Nope. Gucci writes, with this team healthy, how many wins do you think we could get? Good bet for me would be at least 45 to 48. Well, Mark said 45 and I said 48. So, do you guys have any respect for KD now? I've watched so many hate rants about him now. It's hilarious.
I mean, if you're a Golden State fan, you're pretty excited he joined the team. But if you're anyone else, you're not excited about this.
KD might be more hated than LeBron ever was.
I don't know. The special was what put him over the top.
Yeah, people. I think you're forgetting how much people hated LeBron.
But people are really. But KD was a guy that people really loved.
Yeah.
And now it's like. Now I think generally, if you're not a Golden State fan, you're rooting for this team to fail. Like this is, I think, for all the haters out there, Cleveland plays Golden State in the finals. Everyone's rooting for LeBron.
Probably. People's memories are short.
Yeah.
Marcus writes, Knicks in 6 over Cavs, losing 6 to Warriors. Agreed?
They're not going to lose in 6 to the Warriors. They'll probably win in 5 against the Warriors.
I think they'll lose in 7 to the Warriors in overtime.
If we're going to play fantasy, I'm going with them winning the title. They're going to beat the Warriors so bad, the entire Warriors squad is going to retire from the NBA thereafter. Actually, no, sorry. The entire squad, except for Durant, who will ask to join the Knicks for the next best minimum the following year.
Liam writes he likes all the usual stuff, meaning the interviews and the voices and all that. So not everybody hates it.
Okay.
Marcus writes, who would you keep, Galloway or Thomas?
We talked about Thomas. Go on.
Yeah, Thomas. JH writes, why did the Knicks sign Lance Thomas for $6 million a year?
Well, in new NBA, that's less like $3 million, and he can defend multiple positions. And for a little while, he looked okay last year, and then he got injured. So
yeah, it's not that bad.
He's young. I mean, like, he's a solid guy off the bench. He also doesn't need to play a ton of minutes to be good.
The 4-year-old writes, besides the Noah contract, this team is low risk, all reward. How do you grade the moves that have been made? Mark gives it an F-.
I'm going to give 2 grades. For not rebuilding and going for the shortcut we've been doing over and over again, I'm giving this a D because I hate doing this. But for if we have to do this, I'll give you a C+ for this because it's a team that can do really well, but it's destined to have lots of problems. What do you give?
I'm going to give it a B-. I feel
But
like
you were so positive earlier, Jay. You don't want hate mail.
A+. I feel like you can't. You wouldn't have been able to rebuild because Melo wasn't going to opt out. So, I guess take.
You mean when waive is no trade?
Right. And I don't.
By the way, Melo apparently took a discount. He's getting paid like $10 million less than Conley is a year.
Yeah.
I mean, Melo could have done the 2-year and then try to get more money later, and the Knicks would have given it to him.
Yeah.
I think Melo probably did do that because he realized the Knicks weren't going to give the extra. Or I don't know. Maybe if he wants to be in, whatever. Go on.
I just think he didn't think it through enough.
I think maybe he just said, I'm going to take a discount. And he took a real discount. And the way the salary is going up, that he does actually look like a discount.
He didn't take a discount. He took as much as he could back then.
Yeah, but everyone else, like, he could have been a free agent every year like LeBron and get as much money as possible.
Not with his injury history. LeBron, never gets in. You can only do that if you never get injured like LeBron.
That's true.
LeBron's, inhuman like that. So,
by the way, the Philly has signed one guy. I found one guy on here.
Yeah, Bayless.
Who?
Jared Bayless.
Oh yeah, I actually did like that sign. I wouldn't have mind Bayless, but he's not great. But Sergio Rodriguez, do you remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the Knicks for like 12 seconds, but he got 1 year at $8 million a year from Real. He was at Real Madrid last year, and now he's on the Sixers.
Do you guys want Galloway back?
I think being that he'd be bench guy number 11, yeah.
Yeah. You're evil if you don't want Galloway back. The dude literally had a Knicks wedding cake. So we're not evil. Good.
Okay.
LeBron did not join a 73-win team that beat them in the playoffs.
Nope.
And that is it for Twitter. NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter.
Couple Facebook questions. Okay, so Ray writes, we're going to go from the oldest questions to the most recent questions. Frank writes, can you rank our coaches since Van Gundy? Is Hornacek our best coach of the last 15 years? Maybe get an interview with Woodson and ask him what moves he would like to have seen made this offseason had he still been coaching the Knicks. I don't know we keep doing this, like proclaiming whoever we get as being so great. Hornacek has not coached the Knicks yet.
Yeah. So, okay, we can't count Hornacek yet.
You can't say he's better than Woodson or better than
he said since when?
Since Van Gundy.
Since Van Gundy. Okay, so we had Don Chaney.
Okay, everyone's been terrible since then. So it's kind of hard to you just don't know if Hornacek's going to be terrible.
Don Chaney, Lenny Wilkins, Herb Williams, Larry Brown, Isaiah Thomas, Mike D'Antoni, Mike Woodson, Derek Fisher, Kurt Rambis. That's a lot of coaches for not a lot of years.
I mean, I think now Melo in his 5 years as the Knicks had 80 players on the roster. 80 new players and 4 new front offices, 6 coaches. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but it's some ridiculous number of everything from Melo.
That's 9 coaches in 15 years.
Yeah. But I am excited about Hornacek, and I feel like Hornacek will be better in the last couple at least. yeah, he should be better than any of the other guys. In my opinion.
I would say Larry Brown was the worst.
It's weird though, because like it's all those guys like had. But that's the thing why I can't say Hornacek's going to be bad. He was good in Phoenix. Larry Brown went to the finals with Philly. He had a track record.
Yeah. Don Chaney had a decent Knicks team and did terrible. Rambis was obviously terrible.
Lenny Wilkins has obviously a track record.
Isaiah was a mess. Lenny Wilkins, he finished 40 and 41. That probably puts him in the top 2.
That's true.
I mean,
George,
he might be the best since Van Gundy.
George writes free agency. Kind of talked about that on the show. Chris writes thoughts on Plumlee and Baker for Summer League making the roster. The Summer League so far is a travesty. Ralph, do you disagree in any? We've talked about this, right? Ralph writes Noah Rose, Eric Gordon? ? Thank God that didn't happen. Francisco writes Horny seems to be a nice coach. Is he too nice? I can't imagine him getting loud in the face of Melo or someone else.
No, I wouldn't say he's too nice. I think he's just. I don't know if he's nice. He's just quiet.
I don't really know. We'll see what happens. What do you think about his comment that you can't rebuild in New York?
I think that's stupid.
Do you think he just said that because he's a coach? You're supposed to say we're supposed to win, or I think that's insane to say you can't rebuild somewhere because the media is like too mean to you.
Right.
Alex writes, "Are the Knicks trying to assemble the greatest wheelchair basketball team of all time?" He then posts a chart. NBA total losses to injury since the 2005-06 season, and the Knicks have lost $170 million to injury. But most
that's not even a joke.
It's not even a joke of like player like whatever the player's been paid, their salary those for the lost games. The next closest team is Lakers at 150. Then no one else, everyone. There's a couple other teams that barely break 130. The Knicks are just like. They're so good at having players get paid a lot and not play for them. If somehow you can get a title for this, the Knicks would be the Golden State Warriors.
And it's not even the money amount; the actual games missed, they were number 1 as well.
Yeah, they're everything about injury, and it's hard to say. Some of these guys, like some of the things were foreseeable, and some of the things are just like surprising. Amari being injured most of his time as a Knick was quite obvious at the time he signed.
Yeah.
Is Noah that different than signing Amari?
I don't know.
Just like injury history, and not the same injuries, but like, is it if Noah has the same issues with playing for the Knicks, like for injuries, are you going to be any more surprised than you were about Amari?
Well, the thing is, with Amari, he had surgeries where the people who did it actually said he's not going to last 3 more years. Like, Noah had like a shoulder injury, which may just go away and he'll be fine. Like,
yeah, I mean, he claims that they think he's all better. I mean, obviously their doctors have looked at him.
Yeah.
Who else? Well, what are the other big play? I mean, they've had a lot of bad luck too. I mean, Chandler had like a freak injury when that year they lost him.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is depressing.
All right, keep moving.
I mean, it's a depressing chart, especially when you're like setting yourself up for like the. Okay, Q writes the most ridiculous contract so far.
Most ridiculous so far?
Yeah, like the most absurd contract so far. What is the worst signing?
Knicks or overall?
Overall.
Oh, Mozgov.
Yeah, I mean, like the Tyler Johnson deal that looks pretty bad. Also.
Yeah.
You don't think the Tyler Johnson deal? It's insane to give $3 million for a guy that hasn't done anything in the NBA yet.
Yeah, that one looks pretty bad.
The Mozgov one does. I think it seems. Wow. Yeah. But yeah, I do think you're right that people this will be a contract. The Mozgov contract will be the one that everyone asks for. They tell their agent, "Get me a Moz."
Random wrote, "You guys are great, but your takes are weak. Durant was way worse."
Oh, Durant was way worse than LeBron?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think the move itself is worse. I just think the way he went about it was not. I mean, holding court in a holding session in the Hamptons to do it, but not announcing on ESPN. Like LeBron had just no awareness.
Right.
He just like doing an ESPN special to say you're leaving Cleveland, going somewhere else, and saying it like a total asshole.
Yeah.
Like he had to rehearse that line, and people were like, "No, I'm taking my." You don't want to say I'm taking my. Like I'm not taking my talents to Miami. You want to say South Beach? Make it like you know the place.
Right. Yeah, the whole thing was just scripted and weird. And then the whole like party they had afterwards with like the fireworks and them on stage, and like that was just so lame.
That was odd. Like that was unbelievable. How
it was the most pompous, arrogant thing I think I've ever seen.
By the way, does every dream free agent have to do it in our backyard?
Right.
LeBron comes to Connecticut to do it. Durant's in the Hamptons did not to do it. Westbrook will be in Madison Square Garden announcing he's joining the Spurs
During a Knicks Summer League game.
During the Summer League. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I'm sure. Who else? Like Steph Curry will call up our podcast to announce he's not going to the Knicks. Yeah, but the actual move is way worse. I agree with that. Alex writes, does seeing that the Lakers offered Luol Deng $72 million over 4 years make you feel any better about the Knicks offering Noah the same contract?
Yeah, that Deng one isn't good either.
Getting used to this new money thing is just like, it's hard to get used to this new money thing.
Yeah.
These contracts, like Deng getting $18 million, like it's baffling. Adam writes, when it comes to shooting guards, it was either Courtney Lee or Eric Gordon who ended up in Houston for 4 years, $53 million. Did we get a better deal? Which of these two players do you prefer?
What do you think?
Are you even kidding?
No, I'm trying to find the question because I wasn't listening to what you were saying.
Oh my god! It was Gordon or Courtney Lee. What are you playing now?
Oh, no. I was
no. What are you doing?
I was sorting.
Oh, what are you playing? Snood now, or Bejeweled, or what game were you playing instead of doing the podcast?
I was.
I'm going to keep you on for 8 hours tonight.
I was sorting the Facebook questions to see how many we had left.
We have 40 more to go, Jay. Just shut the hell up and deal with your questions. What do you think?
Courtney Lee is so much better. It's not even up for discussion.
Well, Gordon would be injured also, so it would have been ridiculous. He hasn't played a full season yet in the NBA, and Courtney Lee's a better defender.
He has been healthy since literally his rookie season, Gordon.
If the Knicks signed Gordon, Phil Jackson might have just said, "I'm playing the Powerball this year."
Right.
Sean writes, what other shooting guards would have been acceptable? I say Wade, Stevenson, or Green. Gerald Green. Sure.
I would like Stevenson or Green. Like I said, I don't like Wade.
Paul writes, how perfect is that? He posts a picture of Knicks Nights Live presented by the Hospital for Special Surgery. If you work for the Knicks training staff, are you holding out for more money?
Oh, definitely.
Oh my God! I mean, the Knicks have to give you a huge deal. Paul writes, "Guess we can sell off the remaining body parts at the end of the season, maybe at the All-Star break."
Somebody was asking about the stretch clause, and I said I think we need the stretcher clause.
Do you? What assets do you think the Knicks are going to use trade next year to get rid of Noah contract?
Whoever we draft this year.
Yeah. Paul writes, Foy at 32 could have been our backup to Rose. Or could be our backup. Well, Foy's gone, so. Paul writes,
Foy's taken up already?
I thought he was.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. Well, he would be. Either way, we can't afford him at 32. Do we have $32 million to get Foy? How much money do we have left?
32 years old, right?
Oh, I thought he was trying at $32 million, or I don't know what. Randy Foy would be a great guy to get. I would agree. If we could somehow afford him, how much money do we have left?
Like $6 million.
What are you basing that on?
The fact that we had 12 and then we gave Thomas 6.
I thought we had 30, and then we gave 18 to Noah, and then 12 to Courtney Lee, and then we still had 6 left for Lance Thomas. I thought we have 0.
We have -6 now.
I think we just have like all the we might have like the exception, all the exceptions.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
And then we have the 4.6 we can get rid. We can get over the 5 million, whatever Kyle Quinn gets if we can get rid of him.
Right.
Paul writes, not our first choice, but how much better is Courtney Lee at 30 than getting No D Crawford at 36?
So much better.
Much. Tucker writes, bring Woodson back as a consultant or give him a spot to talk about new deals. Bring back Woodson, hashtag.
We'll have Woodson back at some point.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I think the news won't be as the Knicks news won't be as active the rest of the offseason. Adam writes, what do you think about Jeremy Lin getting 3 years, $36 million from Brooklyn? We like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm jealous with that.
The Nets are still going to be pretty bad, though, right?
Yeah. Not only for basketball reasons, but because when Lin was on the Knicks, our numbers went through the roof.
Well, he's not going to be on the Knicks, so.
No, that's why
Are we going to do a Brooklyn podcast now?
That's why I'm jealous.
Greg writes, you guys, we can win the championship if we go back to 2011 NBA season. You know what was great? I was listening to, I forget what show on ESPN, but one on ESPN radio. Someone called in. They were so excited about it. They were like, we're finally going to contend. We're going back to the final, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the call, the guys on the phone on the radio were like, cool, that was a call from 1994. Greg writes, would you rather have Courtney Lee or 2016 Dwayne Wade?
Well, you know my answer.
I would take Wade in a heartbeat. I think we'd seriously have a shot at contending if we got Wade.
I hate Wade.
Okay. Greg writes, some help, guys. And what does Greg post to? Hi, friends. I never do this, but I'm asking a little bit of our time to help my baby boy. He's a finalist for the Face of Bellevue Kids Club. Please help us win. I don't know why I'm reading this whole thing. Please help us win. I like Greg, though. Please help us win by liking the photo on their album. You can like the post, but the best way to help Marcus is by liking the photo itself from their album. Thank you so much. Okay. Everyone do that.
Did you click on it, or are you just going to read it and not click on it?
Since you're not in the room with me, you're going to assume I did it.
I know you didn't.
I will, after this is over, I will do it. And now you've made me a liar. Greg writes, did Tony Roten... Here, what do I have to do? I have to click... Can I click on like just a picture here? Here, like this picture, okay? I'm good. Good. I don't know what the instructions have for me to do. Greg said, did Tony Roten get some easy money even without wearing the Knicks uniform? He still got paid, didn't he?
Yep.
Why can't the Knicks do this like for me? Why can't I get some NBA minimum money? You know what? How is this, New York Knicks? If you sign me, I'll give half the money to Jay. You'll pay both of us.
There you go.
Josh writes, what do you guys think of the new pickup, especially the possibility of getting Dwayne Wade? He carried the Heat last year. Would love to get him personally. Jay would hate it because we'd be good. Why do you hate Wade so much?
He's a dick. He's always been a dick.
He's a dick to you?
He injures people. He does. Somebody. Oh, it's so funny. Somebody messaged us on Facebook, on Twitter, and they added Wade to the question, and they said, do you want Wade on the Knicks? And then it said like hashtag make it happen, hashtag HGH.
I kind of feel like, you know what would make me excited? If the Knicks were like, we got Derrick Rose, we got Noah, and we got Lance Armstrong's crew. That would be excited. If they could figure out a way to like get the HGH doping steroid people here, that would make me happy. We definitely need this. We need Barry Bonds' his team here.
Yeah.
Bonds never got tested positive. We get those guys here, then the team would be good. Ben writes, being from the UK, I'm not sure how a wheelchair-accessible MSG is. Might be worth Phil checking if Noah generally is signing a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
I do kind of love how people are like, oh, man, it's a 4-year deal. I mean, I would have done a 3-year deal. I mean, Noah in that 4th year may not be so good. He may not be that healthy. I'm like, what about year 1? Paul writes, how long will the process of going from pissed off gallows humor to true anticipation, excitement to horrible disappointment take?
That all usually happens between October and January, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, at some point later this summer, we'll be like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. We'll get really excited. And then, by January, it should be gone.
I mean, we usually stay excited through November.
Yeah, unless the major injuries start happening in November, we should be. Someone sent us a message saying Derrick Rose was already questionable for the for training camp, and I was like, holy! I started Googling everywhere. I messaged Jay, and the guy was just. And I called the guy out and just trolling us, and he was like, yeah, I was.
Same with the guy who told me Wade is on the Knicks. Why do you guys torment us like this?
Paul writes, why should I be happy we have Noah over Biyombo? Think they got the exact same contract. Well, in the NBA, part of winning games is having past performance. Right?
Yeah. And plus, we don't know if Biyombo's really like 40. I'm just lying about his age.
Yeah, we don't really know how good Biyombo is. Ralph writes, is getting the old and injured the way to the championship?
According to Phil, it is.
Actually, the only year we were actually good during this podcast was when we went old and injured.
That was true. That's true, too.
Frank writes, can you get a Geico or some insurance company for the man on the street segment and try to get insurance on Derrick Rose's knees? Darryl writes, we're almost done, Jay. Darryl writes, Jay, use your prophetic Knicks pick power and tell us who will end up at point guard. And should we be excited or should we really be rebuilding still?
Let's see. I predict that the Knicks will not have a first-round pick this year.
Why?
Isn't he talking about the draft that just happened?
No, I mean, this question came in after we already had Rose.
Oh, you're asking who we're going to pick next? I don't know any of the prospects next year.
Yeah, I need to figure out where we are because this question came in this morning.
Oh, yeah. Ask me that again in February because that's when I picked Porzingis last year.
That's true, you did.
February is all draft questions.
Ralph writes, I would like it if you could pry Rivers from Clips, but that is not likely. If he means Austin Rivers got a big contract.
He did.
Do you know also they were saying if the Clippers signed Durant, which obviously didn't happen, that one of the guys they would have had a cut was Austin Rivers, which would have been kind of tough. Like Doc Rivers is like, hey, son, I like Durant better than you. Sorry, you're out. I kind of felt good when Austin Rivers got a big contract just because that situation would have happened.
Yeah.
Shane writes, what do you guys think of Jarrett Jack as a backup? And now that the Celtics got better and the Pacers are as well, where do you stand for this season? Yeah, I'd like Jarrett Jack.
Yeah, I mean, he's all right as a backup. I think the Nets' problem is that they try to have him as a starter.
Well, did they try to have him as a starter or just everyone got injured? Was he supposed to be their starter coming in?
I think so. Didn't they trade their starter and make him the starter before the season even started?
I don't know what the Nets like. They really just that trade, that Celtics trade, just set their franchise back. Like they can't even begin to try to compete for another 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Shane writes, now that I think I would have to say if we were a Nets podcast, I would have just ended the show. Shane writes, now that we signed Brandon Jennings, is the best backcourt we've had in years with Rose and Jennings combo?
On paper, yes.
Yeah. Adam writes, also, we just got the news of the deal with Brandon Jennings for 1 year, $5 million. What do you think? We love it.
Yeah, I mean it's short and it's cheap, so it's great to test him out and see what he's got.
Dow writes, why can't the Knicks land a big name below 30 years old? What is the problem? I mean, part of the problem is that there aren't that many free agents that are below 30. Like most of the guys that come up that are unrestricted free agents are close to 30.
Yeah, even the big names that got signed this offseason, Horford, Howard, Conley, they're all 30.
I mean, most of the guys that are under 30, teams just lock up for longer. I mean, they have the ability to pay them more, and they do. you have to have a guy to get a guy who's going to be superstar talent level. He's going to has to be some issue for the most. Well, except for if you're Durant and you're Golden State, I guess. Ben writes, are there any other? Do you think like Durant comes to Golden State and they're like, we're gonna have to work harder than we ever worked before, and Durant's like, maybe you guys have to. Like, do you think he's in some way in his mind's like, okay, this will be easier?
Yeah, I think he thinks it'll be a little easier, but with the lack of bench, he might actually have to work harder.
Francisco writes, Ben writes, are there any other free agents with chronic injury history that we can pick up? If there are, the Knicks will find them.
I think we've collected most of them.
Francisco writes, what do you prefer, high character guys who are injured or locker room cancer guys who are healthy?
Ooh, that's tough.
We've gone high character this time. Daniel writes, if Amari returns, is it proof that the Knicks management are just trolling you personally? You both personally?
Yes.
What do you think about the Knicks signing Amari?
I would be so upset. I don't even care if it's for $1. Like, he's useless on the court right now.
Yeah, I just don't. It doesn't make it would be. Gilliam writes, would you have signed any other centers with the respective contract they have signed instead of Noah?
Pachulia.
Yeah, I would like Pachulia.
We could have had Pachulia and then had
$16 more million.
$15.4 million. Yeah,
we could have also added Alan Crabb. We could have. Gilliam writes, Stephen A. Smith said Durant move is the weakest he's ever seen for a star. Agree.
Well, that means it's confirmed that it's a strong move because Stephen A. picked the wrong finals winner 6 years in a row. So,
it is pretty. Can you think of anything this bad? I mean, there are guys who are like good role players and go from one type.
It is crazy that one of the best players in the league went to a team that broke the record for most wins. I mean, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and that team was the one he took to 7 games and couldn't beat, so he joined them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Gilliam writes, are we better than them? And then he posts a link because it's great, I have to click on something else. And the Bulls' projected depth chart. Their starting line be Rondo, Butler, Dunleavy, Gibson, Lopez.
I think we're better than that.
In their backup, they got Mirotic, Dylan McDermott.
Oh, yeah.
They got Portis. They got Calderon. Which is also bad. They got Grant.
Yeah, we're not better than that, I don't think.
You don't think we're better than the Bulls? We have to be better than the Bulls, or else this trade, or else all these moves are just.
I don't know.
They're deeper still.
Yeah, I forgot about Mirotic and McDermott and Portis.
Snell's not bad.
Yeah, that's still a good team.
Dunleavy's not bad. Dunleavy, I can't believe he's still in the league.
If Rondo gets his act together, that's actually a good team.
Butler is obviously very good.
Yeah.
Lopez, we kind of like, obviously.
Yeah.
Taj, they've been saying for years, should be starting. Should be interesting. Okay, so what teams? So we have in the East. Let's just rank the teams. Right now, you have Cleveland number 1.
Yep.
Oh, forgetting even the order. Just who's better than the Knicks? Cleveland, no question, better than the Knicks. We're not going to argue that.
Yep.
Is Miami better than the Knicks?
No.
Okay. Is Atlanta better than the Knicks?
No.
Definitely no. Indiana?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Bulls?
Yes.
Okay, you're thinking yes, the Bulls.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Toronto.
Yes.
Yes. Wizards?
No.
Okay, I think that puts us at
Celtics.
Celtics. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're putting us at 6th.
Yeah.
It's not looking that great.
Hey, 6th is a huge improvement from 13th.
That is true. Ray writes, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Wow. WTF? Does anyone have a chance?
I know that's if they could fill in that bench with do what Cleveland does and get good players that just want to win a championship, that could be a really good team.
Yeah. That is that's always the thing. There are always guys there's some good players out there that probably just want a ring.
Yeah.
Ray writes, Noah and Rose and Lee. Well, it's not bad. I guess it isn't.
No,
It's not bad.
On paper, though, that the Warriors team's even better now. I mean, you replaced Barnes with Durant, and you replaced Bogut with Pachulia.
And so they're keeping Iguodala.
They can?
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Yeah, I don't know if they can.
I think they're going to keep Iguodala. He wasn't moved already, so.
Right.
I feel like he's someone people would want. He would have moved pretty fast if they had to get rid of him.
Yeah.
You don't hear Golden State rumors trying to get rid of him. They've gotten rid of all the guys they need to get rid of.
That's crazy.
So they're going to have Iguodala. They're going to have the bench is not going to be that bad.
Right. I mean, a lot of those guys you could probably just get back for the minimum because they want to stay, like Livingston and Barbosa and.
No, Livingston signed already.
He signed already?
He was signed through this year. It was actually $5 or $6 million a year. He's on a great contract.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So Livingston's back, and I thought also Iguodala was already signed for this year.
Okay.
So it's really just yeah.
Barbosa, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only way they're really losing is if they have major injuries.
Yeah.
They should be really good. Yeah. And yeah. So what did we learn today, Jay?
That was it?
That was like 40 questions, Jay. That was it. Oh, that was only 40 questions.
Oh, yeah. No, I realized you read.
You were trying to beat whatever game you're playing.
No, I realized you read Daryl's question.
I did or did not?
I think you did.
What was Daryl's question?
Why can't the Knicks land a big name below 30 years old? What's the problem?
You want to repeat any other questions I asked?
No, I said I think you read it. And then I threatened to ban Steven under it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't feel like reading all that part.
Good.
Was Steven trolling everyone?
Yeah. I deleted like half his comments.
Thank you, Steven. I learned that Jay just wants me to get all the hate mail every week. You couldn't agree with me that it doesn't sound like the best moves in the world.
Yeah, I'm very, very worried, but I figured we were due for a positive episode.
We're going to learn how angry people are going to be that we're not super, super excited about all these moves. People are going to be... I feel like there's so many people out there that's like, yeah, we got some big names, finally. We'll be great.
Yeah.
That's actually probably the majority sentiment. The majority of people are like, this looks great, and you guys are complete a-holes for not being overly optimistic about it.
Pretty much. But then, comes like March and April, and everyone realizes we're right, and then they stop the hate mail for a month or two.
I mean, I'd be happy to be wrong because I really want to see this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we want the team to be bad.
I'm just really worried.
We're actually sick of being right all the time.
And guys who are healthy get injured all the time, so it doesn't really matter. Really. Like Orlando signed Grant Hill, and there was no reason to think Grant Hill would never play a game for Orlando.
Right.
I don't know how many games he actually played for Orlando, but probably wasn't many.
He missed on average about 50 a season.
Yeah, I mean, so all those things, you never know. Houston didn't know T-Mac would have a ton of injuries. They didn't know that. They had drafted Yao, but Yao just disappeared one day from the league.
Yeah.
So many guys just get injured all the time, and Grant Hill gets healthy. So, it's what else we learned today, Jay?
We learned that if you don't instantly respond to emails, sometimes you don't get a.
I don't think this was that great of an opportunity, Jay. I don't think it's that great of an opportunity.
Why don't you email Jared and ask him how much money he's making?
I don't think he's making that much money off this thing. It didn't sound the math they gave us was that you were like, "Ooh, we might make $100 a week off this," or what was the money?
$250.
$250 a week. Okay. If he's getting that, that's great. That's not super successful show or anything. That was his most optimistic projections. The guy doing the show wasn't getting it. The guy who's presenting this thing, this lockdown thing, I wasn't getting like huge download numbers to begin with. And my question to you, Jay, was like, he's the guy starting it. Shouldn't he be a little more popular and famous?
You realize we get about $200 a year for doing this show. So 200 a week's about 50 times as good.
Why don't we go to the plan of asking everyone, hey, do you want to advertise on our show? We get pretty good downloads as it is, and we have a website where people just randomly... We wrote some articles for the website that we'd make more money on the website.
That's true. If anybody wants to write articles, email us at nynextpodcast@gmail.com.
I will do it right after we get off.
Okay. All right, so that's it for the podcast.
Do we sound really bitter this week?
You did. I sounded very positive.
When do you think we'll rebuild?
We won't.
Do you think we set the rebuild back? Or we have Porzingis?
We never rebuilt. We drafted one guy who was young. That's not a rebuild. We literally never rebuilt.
I mean, how did we build the 90s team? We had Ewing, and we just added guys around him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if Porzingis turns out to be a stud, then we could build around him.
True.
I mean, turns out to be, like, takes it to the next level, basically. That
it was, I mean, we got Oakley and Starks, and then kind of just filled in the pieces there.
We didn't draft Oakley. How'd they get Oakley? They traded for him, right?
Yeah, from Chicago.
Yeah, what they give up to get Oakley. So anyway, okay, forget what we actually got. I don't remember what they gave up for Oakley, but like you could acquire a guy that's pretty good. That'd be a big piece. Starks wasn't even barely in the league.
We traded Bill Cartwright.
Anthony Mason wasn't like we did much to get him. I forget how we got him, but he wasn't like a guy that was. Did they draft Mason, or was he also a free agent? Like, was an undrafted player?
Didn't Mason come from the Hornets?
Oh, is that what it? He came from the Hornets?
No, we traded him to the Hornets.
Yeah, I thought he came into the league with the Knicks, and he wasn't a guy that he wasn't a guy that he thought would be really good or anything. And now I'm looking this up. The Trailblazers drafted him in the third round when they had 3 rounds. Then he went to Turkey to play Venezuela, had a brief stint with the Nets. Then the Nuggets played 3 games, and the Knicks signed him. So he wasn't exactly a coveted player, and he became a big piece for us.
It's funny. He got drafted, and he played 24 games over 2 years, and then the Knicks got him and played him all 82 games.
Worked out.
It worked out.
I mean, it's if you could. What I'd love for the Knicks to do is have some scouts out there to find these guys.
Okay, we got to end this.
Okay, we're done.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back soon. You can email us, nynextpodcast@gmail.com. Did you want to read our terrible iTunes reviews?
No. Everyone hates the Derrick Rose interviews.
We got shredded on iTunes. Maybe we'll read them next episode because we promised to read all reviews. But this is a 2.5 hour episode. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do it next week. But anyway, thank you for listening, and we'll be back soon.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Everybody.
Cabela's is coming to Northern Virginia with a spectacular new store in Gainesville. Find everything you need for hunting, fishing, camping, and shooting sports, plus much more. Join us for our grand opening celebration Thursday, March 9th at 10 a.m. Be one of the first 500 in line and receive a Cabela's gift card worth up to $500, plus a chance to win one of 3 Remington firearms. See store for details. Don't miss Cabela's grand opening in Gainesville, located off I-66 and Highway 29 near Virginia Gateway.